And here we are. And here we are. 17th of December, 2022. On the eve of the World Cup final. After a month of footballing fantasy, amazing shocks, some highs, some lows, some individual brilliant performances, some not so individual performances. We've been analyzing it throughout this month for you guys, but we are finally here on the eve of the World Cup final. And after all the drama of the minnows and the shocks and the Saudi Arabias and the Moroccos and the brave gallant efforts and some of the favorites going home, it's France-Argentina final. To talk and help me get through the Cooling Khan show, of course, I've got the ever-present, the man himself who people doesn't want to talk about Arsenal, so make sure we get some Arsenal people in the chat because he doesn't want to talk about Arsenal today. Villa, what are you saying?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Yeah, we don't need no Arsenal talk, man. It's a World Cup. You know, today we're watching Croatia, watching Morocco. Club football is not important. We'll bring that next week. Yeah, but right now, please, guys, World Cup. All right, we're gonna stick with the World Cup. Honestly,
we're gonna stick with the World Cup.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, listen. After all that, it's madness, though, isn't it?
Mhm.
After everything that we've said about the World Cup, so many shocks, so many highs, so many moments. It's probably two of the three teams that everyone thought were gonna win it.
I remember. You know what's funny? You know what's funny? I remember you were in a video. I'm not sure if it was this channel or somewhere else, speaking to someone, and I think it was a predictor, and someone's predicted Argentina, France, and you said exactly what I was thinking at the time. Oh, come on, that's just boring. Like of all the things that you could, that's obvious. It's boring, but you know what? Despite it being on paper maybe an obvious and boring final, it doesn't feel like that, does it? Going into it, and that's what the good thing about this. And I think tomorrow it's going to be insane because I just think about Lionel Messi right now, the guy behind me. It's his biggest game, you know, of his career, and he's played so many big games. But this is bigger than anything he's ever done. This could, you know, live forever. If he wins tomorrow, if Argentina wins, he could just retire. Honestly, he could just retire, call it a day. He doesn't need to play anymore.
He has to, right? You know what? We'll get into it, obviously. But surely, if Lionel Messi lifts the World Cup tomorrow, surely he calls it a day, no? That would be the ideal moment. Or do you think he's got too much to give still?
Yeah, it depends contractually, or if he thinks maybe I got a Champions League in me, then maybe give it another
no, internationally. Internationally,
definitely. Oh yeah, internationally, yeah, definitely. For me, there's no point. There's no point. If he gets the World Cup, for me, like that's it. But obviously, in terms of club football, he probably still has a little bit more to offer. As I keep saying, if Barcelona ever finds some money, I can see him going back there for like a season and then calling it, unless he decides to go the American route into Miami, go play for New Orleans.
No, I don't want him to do that shit, man. I don't want him to do that shit.
He could.
I want him. Yeah, he could easily do anything he wants, but I don't want him to go down that route of Pele, probably Cristiano Ronaldo, all these big boys that retired. I don't know why, but I just think he should just retire at the top as opposed to just melt away and we see some like young up and coming centre backs bully him about and kick him about in some minor league. I don't want him to see like that, man. It'd be a fall from grace. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see him because even the way he's plays now, it's not the same as before. Obviously, he can still run at people when he has to, but that's not really his game now. His game now is really about using his brain 100%. You know, obviously before he would use his brain, but he was so good, he could just dribble past 2-3 players, score a goal. You know, that's Messi. But now he's dropping deep. He's thinking about maybe what he's doing a little bit more. But we saw against Croatia what he did to that Gvardiol, whatever you say his name. You know, that monster centre back. He's got the mask. Little 2 steps, done him. You know, cut the ball back inside. Julian Alvarez scores.
That was the young Messi that we became to love with the long hair when he used to do that shit to every fullback and left-sided centre back. He don't care who you are. He don't care who you are. He's going to do that little jink. Bro, you know he was only 75% fit as well. It's scary.
It's scary, man. He was like holding his hamstring at one stage early on. I'm like, oh, I hope he's not injured, man. But then he just puts in that performance. Like, you know what it is? And nowadays, obviously, his energy, even at his peak, Messi wasn't someone who would run around, track back. No. He's in and out of the game in a lot of ways. he will look at what's happening on the pitch. He will pick up little pockets of space, and then back in the old days, he will just take the ball, charge, and then just do messy stuff. Now it's a little bit more different, but I think this Argentina team, especially with what's going on with France, we'll get into their squad, the injury situation, and everything that's going on there. This is a great chance now for Argentina, man. They have to win this tournament. They've been, not great a lot of the tournament, but they've just found a way and a winning formula in the end. And before this tournament, everyone's talking about their unbeaten run and everything that they've done. So surely this is the time for Argentina to win this trophy and get Lionel Messi. We put on the title here. We confirm that GOAT status. For me, he's already the greatest of all time. But
well, a lot of people are suggesting that he's. Well, let's go through a few comments before we get into it. Dennis the Great says, "Big up, Grizz. Big up, Grizz, man. Everyone has Argentina winning tomorrow, but as the football genius Grizz says, football is a humbler." Don't know about football genius, but big up yourself as well, bro. Thank you very much. He says, Bilal. Hamza says, Bilal, 2 on goals, man. Come on. Like, come on.
I thought he was calling me an OG, man. But he's saying he's coming for my team. Like, I thought it was a compliment, man. I got excited. He's coming for me. Like, listen,
my God.
All I can say is I didn't watch a game. Don't ask me what's going on at the Emirates Stadium. I haven't got a clue. Honestly, at this point, just World Cup is in my head. I was watching Morocco, digesting that.
As soon as I was on goals, if you guys have won 3-4-0, you would have been chatting. Please don't tell me none of that shit. But because you got 2 on goals to talk, you don't want to talk club football. GN says, smash up the likes. He's right, people. He's right. JJ says, I think Messi will retire in Barcelona. That would be some story as well, maybe. Or maybe go back to Argentina.
Yeah, that's what I think. I do feel like he could end up back at Barcelona for a season, but it's one of those ones, the salary situation, the financial.
But what does he need to do? What does he need to do at Barcelona that he hasn't already achieved? Why does he need to go back to Barcelona? I don't get it. Why would he?
Just say goodbye. That's his team. He's been there since he was like 12 years old.
You mean try to, like, he didn't get to say goodbye to the crowd and that properly?
Yeah, I don't feel like he left in the best way. Like the whole saga of how he left Barcelona. He tried to leave the year before, to be fair to him, and that failed. And then he went the year after, the whole situation at Barcelona. I don't know. I think maybe another season there, but he doesn't have to do it. At the end of the day, he'll always be a Barca legend. He doesn't really need to go back there. He could just go. The thing is, if he leaves PSG, the only option really is then to go to America or go to Argentina.
Yeah, there's nothing after PSG. Yeah. There's no club side. He should never even entertain any other club. I agree. Yeah. In Europe, it's only his boyhood club, but his boyhood club is Barcelona, right? Did he play for an Argentinian team?
So he was from Newell's Old Boys growing up. Then obviously he went to Barcelona as a kid at 12.
Yeah. So maybe Newell's Old Boys, maybe just, I don't know, just like, as you said, like a farewell tour, the king comes home. Because he was literally a tiny little toddler, like size-wise as well. We already know about his size and whatnot. Graham Cole says, Messi said it will be his last game in the World Cup as they won the Copa America last year. There's nothing left for him at international level. No, absolutely nothing left for him at international level. Terence Tibb says, Salamu, love the pick. Love the character, Terence. You know what I mean? It's coming, Sammy says. It's coming. French, yeah? Okay, fair enough. Everyone knows France ain't winning shit. There's a rebuttal to that already, bro. Hamza says he didn't get a chance to say goodbye to the Barca fans. COVID times. Oh, okay, so just a press conference. Yeah, that makes sense then in that case, innit? Like,
he could go back. It's one of those ones though. Like, he's gonna have to take, like, I don't know, probably a massive. He wouldn't get that much money, and compared to maybe going to an Inter Miami, I'm pretty sure they're going to give him a lot of money to come to the MLS and be that star, in America.
Do you know what? It's so interesting to see the 2 people that we're talking about, or we've talked about in this World Cup, what their next moves are. Like, Cristiano has been linked with the richest move ever in the history of the game to Saudi or Al Nassr or something. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what they both do. And it might be an indication into the people and the humans and the personalities we're dealing with. Because if Cristiano goes for the money to Saudi, I think that's going to be another stain on his ending.
But where can he go, really? But where can Cristiano go?
Don't go anywhere. Retire. Stop playing now, man.
He should retire. definitely for me, if I was his friend or his family member, I say, I'll be honest.
Stop
There's
hitting
only
her.
two. I'll give him two options. I say, you go Saudi, you take that money, or you've got the money, just retire because top level football for you, my friend. You don't need to do it anymore. That's all I
It's a
would say
myth
to him.
now. Top level football for him is a myth.
100%. 38 years old and his legs are going. He's not as even compared to 12 months ago to now. He's declining
Even 12 months
really
ago.
sharply.
And the funny thing is, we keep forgetting Messi is 2 years younger than him. Is it 2 years younger than him? Yeah.
It might even be 3. And this
Might
is
be
why,
3 years younger.
this is even why growing up and seeing this rivalry, Messi-Ronaldo, and all the records that even Ronaldo Champions League, all of this, right? It was always going to be that Messi is going to end up taking all the records purely because of his age, as long as he'd never got injured, purely because of Messi's age. Messi was always going to take all the records at one stage.
So what records does Ronaldo have over him? Does anybody know? Let us know in the chat if there's any remaining Champions League level. Are they level or is he ahead?
I think Messi's a few goals, but I can't remember how many goals. I'll check now. If anyone knows in the
Because
comments, they'll tell us.
that'd be interesting. Assad says, seeing Messi lift the World Cup may make this wait for league football worth it. Yeah, I don't know of many people that don't want him to lift it. Of course, the hardcore Ronaldo stands. But if you're not a Ronaldo hardcore stan, if you're just a normal football fan, I think probably everyone's going to go for Messi, right? I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay, so what we got here?
So you can see here, Ronaldo's on 140, Messi's on 129. If Messi plays 2 more years of Champions League, there's a chance he could probably take, that record. I'm not sure if he will, I'm looking at 11 goals. Not saying Messi can't score 11 goals, but like this season, I doubt he breaks that record. Next season, it depends on if he stays at PSG.
I was going to say he's got to stay at PSG then.
Just to take it.
Just to take the record.
Let Ronaldo have something, man. Come on, let's be honest, man. You need to let Ronaldo just at least have one thing. Yes, he can't take it all. Ballon d'Ors, he's taking it. Like, if he takes this record from him as well, man. I'm not even the biggest Ronaldo fan.
I'm cold.
But,
I'm cold.
Yeah,
do it. Fuck it.
It's a sad day for Ronaldo, man.
But today was the game where it was the 3rd and 4th place playoff. I thought it was a good game. Did you get to watch it?
Yeah, I got to watch most of the game. I was like, I was trying to find a spot for the first 10 minutes. I missed the first 2 goals. But
do you know what?
Yeah,
I was shocked at Modric and Kovacic being picked again. I thought, let them rest, bro. Like, he didn't want to let them rest. Like, obviously, they were without 3 of the back 4. Morocco was always going to be a tall order for them. Our boy Unahi was rested, played on the bench. Lovren was rested, I think, or injured, sorry.
Yeah,
and then
Unahi must have come on second half, right? Because I've seen him.
Yeah,
this Unahi kid. Just a little comment on him, right? I know
Mm.
there's talk about him going to Barcelona, big club. He needs to go to like Lille, even a Southampton, something like that. Like, don't go to a big club, like a big club where there's going to be pressure, where there's going to be maybe lack of minutes. I look at him, he's very raw. He's good at a lot of things. I know he's only 22. He needs to take that step where, it's not that high, but it's a good level of football. Because right now I'm seeing the links to clubs where I'm like, nah, he's going to drown. The World Cup hype is one thing, but when you get to a Barcelona, for example, is he going to play? I don't think so. He needs a Lille, a Leon, something like that.
Really? Yeah, but
he needs a little stopgap.
Oh, we've got some breaking news. Let's bring it up. Hold on, let's bring it up. While you tell me about thing, there was a question on everyone's lips about Southgate and what's he gonna do. Well, here we go.
I'm excited. I'm not even gonna ruin it for myself. I'm waiting for you to tell me.
Yeah, here we go. What do you think? Is he resigning or is he staying? What do you think the news is? Let's see. Quick.
I want a change, but I think he'll stay. I knew it, man. Yeah, I knew this guy is gonna stay, man.
Well, man, I think he should. Dude, honestly,
I had this debate today. Honestly, like, I just think at this point, right? We're not gonna win anything with Southgate. This is the point. I'm not saying he did an awful job this tournament. I thought he did okay. He learned a lot from some past mistakes, but I just don't see England winning anything with this guy. I'm not saying he's a bad human being. I'm not saying he's even a bad coach, even though I don't think he's a good coach or a top coach. I just think he's had like 3 tournaments at this point. It's enough. It's enough. We've seen enough evidence that nothing's going to happen under his tenure. We need something fresh. And I know people are saying, oh, you can't have a manager who's not English, even though we've had Capello, Ericsson, get me a Tuchel. Let's see what you can do in the international level. You never know. I'm not opposed to getting a manager, even if his football at times at Chelsea, people say was negative, blah, blah, blah. He's shown he's a top level manager at the very least, and coach, rather. Not even manager, coach. Tuchel is someone who's a coach. And I think with the national team setup, he could do good. Some people say that's a different debate, I guess. Oh, he's German. Why is he managing the England national team? Fair enough. But I don't know, man. Enough's enough, man. I think this is it's just pointless. Like, we know England aren't going to win anything. At least give us a manager who can maybe give us some belief that can happen.
I feel what you're saying. I know what you're saying. But how many times have we discussed that football is all about fine margins? Right? And that Harry Kane penalty, fine margin. Like, did you really expect him not to score that? That's out of Southgate's control. The way he set up this team, the way he's got them playing, that's the first game I've seen England control. Like, be not hanging on for dear life, being outpassed in midfield, hanging on, backs to the wall, sliding tackles, clearances, England no shots on target, just it's the first time. And I've seen a development in this England team and personnel. Now, you've got a lot of youngsters in this team, the Bellinghams, the Sakas, the Rashfords, all these players that are going to be, Declan Rice is young. They're going to be more mature, stronger in another 3-4 years' time, 2-3 years' time. Surely he's got to be given the chance to maybe one more tournament. Maybe I know what you mean about we're not going to win anything, but I can't sit here and say that, bro. He's achieved more than a lot of other prestigious managers, like Hansi Flick, for example, or the Portuguese or the Belgian one. Like all of these clubs, all of these nationalities managers. He's reached semi-final, final, okay, quarter-final, but it looks like he's lost every time to the eventual winner.
He's lost every time for me when it's a game where it's difficult. Like, he's won the games where, oh, you should be winning. And even there was a lot of luck in that. I know the penalty shoot against Colombia is one example. Fair enough, England did well on that day to get through, but it was a penalty shoot at the end of the day. When England have had to face that team where they look good in this tournament, Italy in the Euros, or they were looking maybe like the best team in the tournament, can England overcome them at Wembley? No, they couldn't. Can they overcome Croatia? Good team, solid. Can you, out-maneuver them, out-engineer them in the game? No. Against France now, same thing. First half, for me, England were poor. Second half, played better. A lot of referee decisions probably went against England. We know that. But again, the ruthlessness, the last minute, the last little bit that England needed, they've, again, for the third time, in my opinion, failed. And Southgate was responsible or in charge for all 3 of them. And I'm not saying he's done a bad job. That's not my point. My point, I'm happy with a lot
to go further, to go forward.
Yeah, to go further. I think he's taken this team to a point where it's as high as possible. And this is the first time, actually, if you look at it, he's kind of regressed in a way in terms of like the stage of the competition, where England have ended up in. I just think now we need something different. I know the options there are, to bring a new manager in might not be there. I'm saying Tuchel. There's some people saying Pochettino. These are club managers. Do they really want to come into the international game? They're saying that, man, if honestly, if being English is a requirement and you can't get a Graham Potter, you can't get an Eddie Howe, then cool, Southgate should stay. But if the FA are open to bringing in a foreign coach to coach this team who's a top-level coach, they should do that, in my opinion. So that's where I stand with it.
Interesting. Fair enough. People, let's get the likes up to 100 straight away. Can everyone in here right now, right this very second, stop what you're doing, hit that like button, smash that like button, tap that like button, and then let's keep it moving from there. We've got so much more to get into. By the way, if you want to get in, we have spaces to call in. The link is pinned in the chat. Make sure you've got good Wi-Fi and a good camera, and make sure you know what you want to talk about. The last thing, when people come on, the awkwardness, don't have it all Ready, man. There's no pressure. It's me and Bilal, man. We're homies. We're brothers. We're family. Don't need to be nervous on here, man. Come and talk about anything that you want to talk about. Jashar says, Bilal, England won't win with or without Southgate anyway. His record was the best since Sir Alf. Revenite says, well, I guess I'll be concentrating on Liverpool now. Can't watch Southgate ball any longer. Done a fair job, but it was time for a fresh voice. I get it. Chelsea FC says, Grizz, what do you think about Christopher Nkunku? Gone to Chelsea, 65 million euros. Very good signing. Very good player. I'm not sure if it's the right club. I'm being honest. What do you think of Christopher Nkunku?
Yeah, he's a very good player. I remember years ago when Arsenal had Unai Emery, and obviously he's come from PSG, and he recommended Nkunku. At the time, I didn't know who he was. Like, I didn't know if he's going to be that good. But obviously he's gone to Leipzig and started just doing absolute madness, playing like centre forward a lot of the time, just floating about, being that main man in the attack. But I feel like Chelsea again, though, they signed a player where we don't really know what is his best position. You know, it's not a specialist. He's not a specialist at a specific role. And that maybe is an issue. But with Potter now in charge, maybe it's a good thing as well. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
I'm just trying to do this poll thing, while you're talking, how to do a poll. Can anyone tell me how to do a poll while it's on the thing? I'm in the YouTube studio. But
it should be somewhere there. Be somewhere that I don't even know myself.
Create. But yeah, look, we start off with, as we said, about this Croatia-Morocco 3rd and 4th place playoff. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little kick around. They're not going to be really up for it. They're going to be tired, despondent that they didn't get through their respective semi-finals. It was anything but, man. It was fiery. Tackles were flying in. Players were surrounding the referee. Decisions, hardcore tackles. It was quite a game, and they started off with a wonderful goal from Croatia. I don't know about you, but I love little set routines like that. It was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, Croatia, just everything they do is just with their brain.
It's calm, isn't it? It seems like everything's calculated.
And this is why I didn't want them in the final. I'm not gonna lie. I just felt like it would be too predictable in a way. What they would do, what they would offer, what they would bring to the table. And I felt like if they played, whoever they played in the final, felt like they would have got the better of them. I'm not going to lie. Fair enough. If Morocco had got to the final, then it would have been different. But assuming it was going to be France, I just was so happy that they didn't actually go there, because now obviously we've got the Argentina-France final. But yeah, Croatia, they're just a smart team. They're solid. They know what they're good at. They know what they're not good at. They don't try to do anything fancy. They're just Croatia, and they're punching above their weight. Is it 4 million people in their country, and they're 3rd place in the World Cup, the runners-up last World Cup. It's an unbelievable generation of players, and I think this was a great way to just mark it as "je finis," as they say. I don't even know if that's French, but yeah, it's finished now. C'est la vie, all of that. Yeah, all of that.
I don't even know what you said there, but I mean,
finito.
Finito's definitely not French. Finito's definitely.
I don't know what language that is, but it's finished now.
Please help us out. How do you say it's finished in French? Please, can someone help us?
Someone tell me. I think J means I, so I might say I'm finished. Who knows what I said? I might be
you're
finished.
Well. Yeah, you're definitely finished. But Morocco went up the other end, equalised straight away with a scrappy. It was their best chance of equalising, scoring. Look, I said it from start. Morocco played some lovely football, technical ballers. I told you I don't rate this Al-Nasri guy. I know he ended up scoring the most goals for them and Morocco's top scorer, whatever, but there's not enough goals in this team, obviously. Ziyech and Boufal, despite all of their build-up play being wonderful, just didn't have any cutting edge, I'm afraid.
Ziyech, we need to have some words, because I thought he changed. I was watching him at the beginning of the World Cup in the group. I'm thinking, oh, Ziyech, he's alive again. Then all of a sudden, the last few games, he's just.
What did you expect him to do? What did you expect him to do, though?
Bro, just pass the ball normally, control the ball, take some initiative.
C'est fini.
I was close enough, bro. What
did you say? J'ai fini.
Yeah, I knew J. I think means I or I'm.
Yeah,
so I must say I'm finished.
Yeah, you're used to saying
fini. It is finished. I believe that's what it means. Yeah. Okay. Noted. That's my French. I might as well support France. I'm learning words, Well,
we're gonna get to what we think and who we support. You know what I mean? We're gonna get to what we think and who we support at the end. But I like this game. I enjoyed it, man. But it was pretty much how it's gone for both teams. Like we saw some lovely control from Kovacic and Modric. And we saw some lovely touches from Morocco, especially second half in a period when Unahi came on. Amrabat ended up playing at the back because even their starting centre backs, another one got injured, so they've got 4 defenders out. Look, you can only speak highly of both teams. I think both teams would have absolutely, if you told them at the start of the tournament, well, definitely Morocco, like wild. If you told them they're going to be 4th in this World Cup, they would have said you lot are taking a piss. But Croatia 3rd, I think it's a wonderful achievement for them as well to finish 3rd again.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, big up Croatia for what they've done.
Yeah, man.
I just think I don't know what players they've got coming up, in the next generation. But if they're anywhere half as good as this, I think they'll be fine. At least to just be competitive. I think come with the countries like Croatia, Uruguay, they need to just find that spine first, and then after that, if they can just be solid, work hard, and they have the heritage of what they've done in the past with them, they'll be fine. But yeah, with Morocco, it's just a team that's just tired. You have to just keep it real. These guys have run so much this tournament. They've fought every single game. Some of these guys, I think they need like 2 months off after this World Cup. The way they're in shit.
I wish they gave Modric. Well, actually, he still would reach the Champions League final against us. The game against us. But yeah, man, he's gonna be, bro, man. This guy is an absolute machine. I mean, going on to sort of Luka Modric chat. I know we've spoke about it and we've talked about it in terms of one of the GOATs. Surely, man.
For me,
top 5, top 6, somewhere or higher for you. You said, didn't it?
Top 5. You could argue him top 3. He's just complete. He's a complete midfielder. If you want him to win the ball back, let's just start off with the basics. Just win the ball back.
He could do that.
Be aggressive. Be a bit dogged. Modric can do that. If you want a good pass, if you want that final ball, he can do that. If you want someone to control the tempo, he can do that. Every facet of being a midfielder, he can do it. So for me, in that aspect, he's got to be a top 3, top 5 midfielder. If you give me names, then I don't know. You have to debate them. Everyone at that level was very special anyway. So it's hard, to really categorize them in one way or the other. But yeah, Modric, 100%. He's an all-timer. We're going to remember him forever. And what he's done for Croatia and for Real Madrid at club level is remarkable. Going at 27 years old, I believe, to Tottenham, from Tottenham to Real Madrid, being voted the worst signing ever by Real Madrid fans.
Yeah, you told me that, man. I can't remember that.
Yeah, I remembered it because I remember that era, obviously, Ozil, Ronaldo, all of these guys. And then they're thinking, why have we signed Modric? We don't need him. Little did they know at that time that he was going to be their most important player, one of the most important players for the next, decade. Instrumental player.
Are you agreeing with
timeless?
This?
Bro, listen, they're a bit different but yeah, I love them both.
Everything that you've said, right, about Modric, Modric can is it one of those ones where Modric can do everything Xavi could, but Xavi couldn't be as dogged or as a tough tackler like Modric has shown he can be? Or can
Yeah, Xavi was the tempo setter, really,
Only,
even though, of course, but yeah, and Busquets is there doing his stuff in the 6th, and he was very crucial, press resistant, etc. But Xavi just glued everything together in that midfield. But it was a special Barca
But
team.
how often do you see Xavi suddenly you find him on the right wing making a lung bursting run and crossing the ball in, where Modric does that as well?
Yeah, for me, I've never really compared Modric to Xavi. That's the thing. I've done Modric stuff. And for me, I know some people put Iniesta. I've been more Modric. So if it was me with a team of 3 midfielders, I could have Xavi and Modric play together. I think that would be unbelievable to watch as well. But when you start talking like, obviously, Modric, Iniesta, it gets really close. But I think Modric, for me, is still, honestly, he's above. Despite how good, the Barca trio is the best trio, right? It's the best midfield 3 you can find. As a midfield 3 in that team is probably one of the best teams ever, if not the best of Barcelona. Like
the best team ever. I think it's fair to say it's the best team ever.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's stop the chat. First and foremost, let's just say they're the best club side ever. If you want to have a debate, no problem. Let's have a debate about it. But for me, that was the best club side ever.
Yeah, I agree 100%. There's no football. I don't think a team's been that dominant, played that style of football, and been that good. But I think that sometimes blurs the conversation when we talk about individuals, matching up against each other. Whether it's a Modric versus Iniesta, if you want to do a Modric Xavi, fair enough. But I think, well, yeah, I agree with this comment. Modric is more complete. I don't want to say better than Xavi because they could play together. As I keep saying, I like the Modric Iniesta comparison more than the Modric Xavi one. But yeah, 100% Modric is an all timer. He could play for any team, any era. That's how good he is. And
But do
I
you
don't know
agree with
what
this
more.
one though? Hold on, Modric over Xavi is in conversation, but I think Xavi hinders it. But look at this one, Assad with a controversial one.
Mm.
Iniesta
And
is
this,
twice the player Modric is. We can't agree with that. That's way over the top.
I don't agree with. I think Modric can do what Iniesta did, man. Honestly, if he played for Barcelona in that era, if he played for
I agree with
Spain
you.
in that era, I think Modric could do what Iniesta did. I don't think Iniesta's a brilliant footballer, passing, dribbling, vision, spatial awareness, everything, touch. Iniesta's got it. Clutch moments as well. Iniesta's got it. I think that's another thing. Maybe he's got more of those iconic moments where people look back. Oh, Iniesta did this. More than Modric probably. So
It's
that's why some
funny.
people probably put him there. Yeah.
It's funny we've spoken about Modric and we've glowed about Morocco, and rightly so. We've spent a couple of shows on Morocco. So look, fair play to them. Their fans, their country, their nation, their continent. They've done everyone proud. Anyone, anything to do with Morocco. Absolutely proud. But I wanted to talk about what Hey Nomadic is talking about as well. And it's true because I said it today. I was speaking about, I was watching this guy. She says, pains me to say Cover not getting the deserved recognition for his performances, especially his Hall of Fame against Brazil. I know Modric is the bigger name, but Cover has been colossal in the last 3 games. This guy, bro, Kovacic. I mean, how much did he get today? 8.0. That's what I'm talking about. We haven't been a fan of FootMob's ratings, but
This one's right for sure, 100%.
this one's right for sure.
Did you see there was one moment of the game, Kovacic, like he's had a shot on goal, but he does this touch before, the shot. Like, so this is something like like a Dimitri Payet or even like a Eden Hazard would do. I don't know how to describe it. Like kind of cut in, out. I don't know how, it was like second half. I don't know if anyone remembers. Like it was towards the end. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it because it's kind of like blurry in my head. But I remember watching that and I was like, this guy is just a joke. Just watch something just like you're just a joke player. And that's what Kovacic is. He's just unbelievable.
Strong. Like, we were just talking about sort of like the attributes of the others, Modric's and whatnot. Could he do a bit of everything?
Yeah, Kovacic as well. He's in that mold of a midfielder where he can do many jobs. He can run around. He can, in terms of box to box, he can do that box to box kind of role. But really, what separates Kovacic from most other midfielders is his, timing when he does things, his touch, his little dribbles that he does, the little touches, very faint, subtle body movements that I see him do that create a little bit of separation between him and the opposition. It's those things that separate, a Kovacic from, I don't know, a Moy, sorry, I don't know why I've thought of Moy, but like just an average midfielder. He does things that make him elite, and he's got those elite qualities that only few midfielders have. So yeah, 100%. We always say, like, I watch Kovacic and I think he would maybe be better suited club level, maybe to play in a 4-3-3 for a team that wants to play that sort of way, and maybe on that left hand side as well, where he can really operate, get sometimes out wide, drift in, drift out, get in the half spaces, and really connect everything on that side. I think that was probably his best role. Obviously, at club level, it's kind of hard with the way Chelsea play. They play with the three at the back a lot of the time. I know Potter's there now. Maybe it will change. But in terms of what he's done for Croatia as well, he's just been unbelievable. And of course, that comment before was right. We have lavished the praise on Modric a lot of times. I think people
and not
do.
enough is spoke about.
Yeah. Obviously, it's natural, I'd say, because we know Modric is 37, right?
Yeah.
We know he's coming in towards the end. The same with Messi as well. We know these guys really and truly, we're not going to see them again. That's why,
it's one of those ones. Yeah,
you want to give them their flowers before they leave,
that's
But
right.
with Kovacic, yeah, he's going to be here for another few years at the very least, and he's going to keep on performing like this. As long as he stays injury free, that's been a bit of an issue as well, just a bit of injuries. Stay fit, play consistently, and then, yeah, the sky's the limit for him. He's been a top talent, man, since the day he jumped on the scene. Since the first day we heard the name Mateo Kovacic, everyone was raving about him, and rightfully so.
I want to speak about, before we get the first caller in, people, let us know if you want to call in. The link is pinned in the chat. So click on that link. We will have our first caller. We'll be having actually just a couple of minutes. There's plenty of more spaces, or if you want to call in and speak about anything that you want to speak about. I want you to speak about this guy, and he's going to get his move, isn't he? He scores, obviously, the goal today as well. Brilliant header. But overall, he's been a colossus, isn't he? He's been the standout, one of the standouts. How much are we looking, do you reckon?
They said 90 million before. I don't know how much they're saying now. Like Leipzig are going to be...
They can say what they want, but he's not going to go for more than 75, 70 max. Come on.
If there's a bidding war, he's 20 years old. He's a monster at 20, you know. For me, obviously, I wouldn't spend 90 million on him because I just don't think it's... It's just me with transfer fees like now in football.
I reckon euros, 90 million euros. So what?
That's if we're talking 60. Euros, okay, I was talking euros. So 90 million euros, 100 million euros. So that's like maybe 75 million pounds, something like that. Maybe 80 million pounds.
It won't be, my brother. It will not be 90 million pounds, my brother. Remember this. It will not be 90 million pounds. It will be in the region of about 70 million pounds eventually. That's how much.
What I would pay for him. That age centre back has big potential. Get some resale as well. If
you're ready to break the bank for a minute, you're ready to do what you got to do to get him.
No. I would spend, if I was a club needing a centre back, left foot, strong, athletic, can do them kind of headers that we saw today. 50 million. I don't care. Like this is but this is me. Like I think the market is bonkers. I think football's in a bad place when it comes to transfers. I'm looking at even my team now. They're linked with this Mudryk kid from Shakhtar, and the money they're asking for or quoted, it just sounds stupid to me. You know what I mean?
Skriniar is a free agent. Is that true? Inter Milan. Skriniar?
Is he really? Okay. Someone tried to bid 60 million for him. I don't know if
PSG was PSG. What they wanted him.
Would you bid 60 million for someone on the free the next year?
Bro, the reason why they rejected it is they didn't want to sell him. They asked him to stay another year. He's just joined them a couple of seasons ago, so that's why the timing was bad. But now that they know he's ready for a sale, he'll go for
He is available on the free this summer.
Oh, shit! Wow,
that's an opportunity, man.
Exactly. Let's get the first caller in. I think we've waffled on enough now, Bilal. What do you reckon? Let's get the first caller. We've got Avinash. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Hope you're doing well, man.
Big up, man.
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We're good. Well, I've been a bit unwell, but it's better today, as you guys can see. I haven't coughed as much, so I'm doing all right. How you been? We see the jersey is on.
I'm back.
We think it means you're rooting for Argentina tomorrow. Are you?
Yeah, you think right. I think I came on a couple of weeks at the start of the World Cup in the same jersey, and I said I'm backing them with my brain. So that hasn't changed. I'm still backing them with my brain, but obviously I think there is an emotional aspect to see Messi.
Did you come after the Saudi Arabia defeat, maybe?
No, but it was before the tournament started, actually.
Oh, before the tournament started. Okay, because I wondered what your opinions were when they lost. Did you still have that confidence when they lost?
Yeah, actually, to be fair, I did. But I knew, it's kind of happened before, right? Everybody was talking about Spain doing that in 2010, and I had confidence that they did do enough because that wasn't necessarily a very tricky group. So it was just about getting the first win on the board, and then I thought they would peak at the right time, and that's kind of what's happened. So actually, if you think about it, I would say France and Argentina. I don't think they've been the two best teams in terms of just the way they play. But I think they've been the most flexible and adaptable. And they've known when to make their moments count. And they both kind of peaked at the right time. If you think about it, that's what I think international football is all about. It's not so much about, playing great football between the boxes and playing like a club team, so to speak. It's more about knowing when to press, knowing when to defend, knowing when to suffer, knowing when to just control the ball and keep possession. I think these are the two teams who have done that best. And even if you look at it, Argentina, they had a bit of a setback in the first game. But something we've seen with a lot of managers is them being stubborn and sticking to their favorites. But that's not something we've seen with Scaloni. He's brought in so many players. He dropped Lautaro Martinez. He dropped Paredes. And the likes of Enzo, McAllister and Alvarez have basically turned their World Cup around. If he had stuck with those players, they probably wouldn't have even got out of the group after that first result. So that shows a degree of flexibility, I think, which not a lot of managers have shown, and kudos to him. And again, they played in moments. It obviously helps when you have, even France for that matter, when you have generational talents, basically the two best players in the world, I think, at this point in time. I don't even think there's that much debate around it. And obviously, it's very symbolic in some ways, this final, because it's going to be like a handing of the baton, as so many people have spoken about. Clearly, Messi is still the best right now, but once he, hangs his boots up, he probably won't continue. At least you guys have spoken. He's probably not going to continue in international football, and even club football. He might go back to Argentina or go to the US. I don't see him hanging around for more than this season. And after that, there's really only Mbappe. I don't really see anybody else who's on his level. So there's definitely something symbolic there. And, some of the things that we spoke about at the start, that I think it was supposed to be his 1000th game, the final. We wondered if, these scripts actually come true. It's almost like a fairy tale, like a prophecy in some ways. But here we are. They're in the final, and it's almost
that 1000th game turned out to be false. He's already played his 1000th game. Yeah. So but the rest of it, you're spot on. Do you know what? I'm in total agreement with Avinash, Bilal, especially the point about Scaloni and how he's not just played his favourites and one team. He started off with Paredes in midfield. He started off with the other right back. I can't remember his name now. Who wasn't all that?
Montiel, the Sevilla one?
Was it Montiel? Yeah. He started off with Lautaro Martinez. He started off with Di Maria. But as he's gone on, he's changed formation accordingly, even in-game formation changes. I think he's done a fantastic job of keeping them motivated. I mean, motivation was never going to be an issue. Let's be honest. Like, the Messi narrative takes care of the motivation, and we've seen that. But sometimes a team can be too motivated, if you know what I mean. Like, can be a bit over emotional. And sometimes you need a manager who can control the excitement that can obviously spill over into nervousness. I think he's done a fantastic job, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, 100%. He's been, the in-game stuff for me is what's impressed me the most. I think a lot of the times, even some of the changes at the defense, sometimes Sandro wasn't playing, but when he saw, what I could do with him, he'll bring him on. Play this free at the back at times, that is very flexible, the way they play. And I think what he's honed into is that he's focused on their strong points and try to negate, their weaknesses from being exposed. And that's what you need to just do as a manager. At the end of the day, it's not that hard. A lot of the times you talk about managing, we talk about Pep Guardiola's, for example. I know it's club football, but how maybe sometimes you want to overcomplicate everything. For me, he's looked at his team and he's like, you know what? We have good centre-backs. To be fair, our fullbacks might not be that strong. Let's protect them a little bit. We haven't got wingers, so to speak of. So what should we do? Let's pack out the midfield. DePaul, McAllister, Enzo. These guys have been playing really good, and that's allowed now Messi. And I think the introduction of Julian Alvarez has been key as well, because that's allowed Messi to just do what he wants, really. Because Alvarez, the energy that he's bringing to the team, the movement, the determination, and everything that Lautaro wasn't bringing in terms of the cutting edge as well, Julian Alvarez has brought in. So you have to give him credit as well, because that's not just the manager. That's him as a player taking responsibility. And I think Messi and the team have just reacted so well to everything that's been going on. But defensively, at times there have been moments where Argentina have looked questionable in some spells of games. The Australia game, the Dutch game, the game against the Netherlands. They look like a little bit, when the game starts going against them, it really goes against them. But now in the final, who are they playing? France. Have France looked great at any moment? No, they've just been efficient. They've just been ruthless. They've shown why they've been at this stage before. So I think just looking at the way Argentina play and France play, it's just going to be an interesting game, because I don't know, who do you think's played the best football this tournament? I don't think there's been like a standout team. Maybe Argentina, to be honest, maybe Argentina in terms of chances created, in terms of Messi, but there's no team that
I don't know. Let's ask our caller, Avinash. What do you think, bro? I'm struggling to think of. I don't know. You guys tell me. What do you think?
Yeah, in terms of just as a team, in terms of having a plan and sticking to that plan, I think Morocco have done really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've suffered, and Croatia, of course, we spoke about. I think I mentioned
Mm.
this during one of the call-in shows as well. Croatia have a plan, and they stick to the plan, and it makes it easier for them because like they have a good first 11 and not so much depth, and it's very clear what their strengths are, right? So it makes sense to stick to it. So in terms of just playing and having a plan and playing as a team, I think Croatia and Morocco have probably played better football. Whether it's pleasing on the eye, that's debatable when it comes to Morocco. Croatia, obviously, they play nice football, they keep the ball well. So yeah, it's a tough one. Brazil, very up and down, I would say. When they played well, they played really well. But again, I would say some of these teams, right? Brazil, Germany, they've actually played some really good football, but I just feel like I mentioned this as well. Not enough care and attention when it comes to taking their moments, because it's not so much about playing well between the boxes. You have to do well in the boxes, and I don't think they did. They paid enough attention to that, and they were guilty of taking their opponents for granted a little bit, I think, and that's why they're out. Which is what France and Argentina, especially, haven't done, because they have suffered when they've had to suffer, and they've just taken the moments when, just reiterating what I said earlier. So I don't think there's a definitive answer to who's played the best football, because that itself is a debate. What is the best football, right? Is the football that wins, or is it something that's pleasing on the eye, or is it a combination of both? I think that's very rare to achieve, something which is really nice, pleasing on the eye, which is, keeping a lot of the ball and still being able to create and score goals. I don't remember. I think even the last 20 years, probably only Spain have managed to do that. And even there, you can have a debate over whether they were too slow or, too possession oriented at times in their area of dominance. So, yeah, I don't think there is a definitive answer to that particular question.
It's true though, isn't it, Bilal? Like, I'm struggling to think of a dominant team. Like, a lot of people have. I mean, I can't. Even Brazil, were they really that dominant before they came up against Croatia?
Yeah, Brazil were the team that I looked at on paper, who should have played the best football, who looked like pre-tournament. I'm seeing them win like 4-0. Everyone's playing nice. The wingers, Neymar, everything was looking good for Brazil. I think they're obviously probably the biggest disappointment of this tournament for me on a personal level, just like in terms of teams that I thought should win. I thought Brazil should have won this tournament, in my opinion, just on the squad and everything that they had. And yeah, they didn't even deliver themselves. Obviously, they went out in a strange fashion. They score, they concede and lose out on penalties. But at times, Brazil's football for me did excite me. But yeah, you know what? I think Argentina, they've had moments in games.
They've grown the most.
Turned it on.
They've grown into it, haven't they?
Yeah, 100%. They've grown into these games. They've understood. I think the Saudi Arabia game for them was just a shock. The Poland and Mexico game, still, they wasn't themselves, but they found a way to win. But every game, they just keep finding new ways to win. And I know people say the run that they've had as well isn't the hardest, but it's the World Cup, man. Everyone's giving 100%. Did you want to play Australia? I don't think anyone really wanted to play Australia if you watched them play. The Dutch, before the game against Argentina, people were looking at them, me included, thinking, you know what? I think they'll give them a game because of the way Van Gaal's got them set up. So it wasn't an easy game for Argentina to play. But they still found a way in extra time to come through that game and, really give it their all. And obviously, we know how they went through in the end on penalties. But I look at Argentina and I just think this has to be their time. This has to be the one that they win. But there's that question mark there. And I know we'll get onto France with their injuries. They're saying Giroud now might be out. Mbappe might go up front tomorrow. Thuram on the left, Dembele on the right. And that's going to change even the dynamic of the French attack. Mbappe, not only is he not now the winger, most likely, he's going to be the number 9 starting up front. I know it's a position that he doesn't really like. He wants to be out wide and do tricks and skills. But I think Mbappe, if he was actually serious about it, he could be a deadly number 9. Coming inside, not always stuck out, on the wing, float around, and he could be an absolute weapon. I hope in the future, to be honest, I don't know about you guys, think about Mbappe and his potential, future position. Yeah, I want him to become a number 9.
But he doesn't.
I think he could. That's the issue. I don't understand.
He's like Thierry Henry, though. Thierry Henry never used to like that. Thierry Henry used to love drifting out to the. Obviously, later on he started playing that. But Mbappe at the moment, maybe he hasn't maybe he hasn't got that game intelligence yet to be able to perform through the center like a Benzema. Maybe that's a string to his bow that needs to be added. And if he gets that as well, wow.
Because he's so dangerous. He could play on the left. He can play on the right. So why don't you just start in the middle where you could just literally be that guy up front that can go anywhere? Nobody knows where you are. You can't be marked out the game. Like I think in the England game, we knew he was going to be on the left. You know, the English players knew he wants to just hang there. Giroud's the one in the box. He might need to cut inside, run past Walker, cut inside, shoot. Or cross. That's what he's going to do. If he decides, you know, I'm going to be a number 9. I'm going to be that guy who's going to drop deep sometimes. I'm going to spin defenders. The defenders are not going to know what to do because he's so quick. You know, he's good on the ball. He's technical. He's skillful. How can he be stopped if he decides, you know what, I'm going to be a serious number 9? And I think he needs to just, I want him to just accept, please go up front. You know, some guys, I don't know what it is, but you know what it is? I think people want what they don't have. I remember Theo Walcott at Arsenal was one example. He was playing on the right wing all his life. He was good on the right wing. He was not good up front compared to him on the right wing.
Yeah,
but he had it in his head. He had it in his head. I have to play through the middle. I have to be the number 9. Bro, you're a winger. I think Mbappe, yeah, his ability playing with his back to goal, of course, that can be improved. But it can only be improved with experience, you know? And that's the thing. And I think that's...
But he's got time on his side, though. We don't need to... Yeah. I don't think that conversation is valid right now. Avinash, I wanted to ask you, where do you think the key couple of battles are going to be tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is it going to be the obvious ones, or is there one that we're not got quite our eyes on and we should be? Like sometimes there's always an area of the pitch where we think everyone focuses on a different area, but then that becomes such a pivotal part. Is there anything like that for you?
Yeah, the way I've been thinking about it is obviously this Giroud news puts that a little bit in question, but for me it has been that sort of left-hand side for France, which is actually the strength going forward, but not so much defensively because the two best attacking. That's kind of where Theo Hernandez and Mbappe is probably the best left side in the tournament, to be honest. And I think if they continue with that, if Giroud plays up front, I was thinking that Argentina might be better served going back to the 4-3-3 and putting Di Maria on the right. And Messi kind of tends to drift that way anyway. So that would probably make sense. Di Maria is a big game player. In fact, in the Copa America final last year, I don't think he played a single game up until the final, and then he threw him into the final and he scored the winning goal, the only goal of the game actually. So
I've been thinking about this as well. You know, Di Maria hasn't yet made an impact as such.
Yeah,
I don't know about his fitness status because I think that's why he's been in and out of the team. He's come on for a couple of minutes here and there. Or I think he started. Did he start the first game? I'm not sure. Can't remember now. But yeah, but he hasn't had the impact. Di Maria for me is a big game player.
Yeah,
and I think you've got a point there. What do you think, Bill?
Yeah, no, Di Maria, 100%, man. He is that guy that on the right for me over there. I feel it's so underrated, man. He's so good at everything. You know, in terms of first touch, in terms of everything he wants to do. Di Maria is that guy, but. For me, I won't start him. I'm not going to lie. If I was Scaloni, I would just stick with that 3 at the back. You know, not even 3 at the back. If you want to play 4 at the back, 4 at the back with the 3 in midfield, and then you know.
Well, they don't even play 4-3 in the midfield. They play like a Paredes. It's Paredes and McAllister, Enzo and DePaul. It's like a 4, isn't it? And then
that 4.
Alvarez up front, and then Messi just floating.
Yeah,
and then they tried to get the width from Acuna and Molina.
I would just stick with that. I wouldn't. Yeah,
because that's where they've been controlling. That's where the way they've been controlling the midfield. Them 4 soldiers in there can do a bit of everything except beat a player and go wide.
Yeah, and even McAllister, DePaul, sometimes it can get the better of their opponents, you know. But they don't really need to. They're just smart enough to hold the ball, and then Messi ends up finding the space with the fullback stretch the game because they've already congested and attracted so much attention in the middle. The space is out there wide for the fullbacks to join in the attack. And with Julian Alvarez, of course, they can just continue, you know, him just pressing from the front with Messi floating. I think this system that they found in the end has been really, really good to watch. And I think looking at France with their midfield options, right? Rabiot, is he? He
So
must
Rabiot
still
will
be
be
a doubt.
back. No, Rabiot's back.
He'll be back, but will he be fully, recovered?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
man.
trying to
It was
say.
a cold, man.
You
It was
think?
a little cold.
All right, fair enough. If it's, do you think it's a little cold? It sounds like it's a bit. It's going to every player. They're saying Konate had it. He's alive again. Varane, I haven't heard news about him in terms of what's happening with him. Giroud, I know it's
okay, so we're gonna get into that. So Giroud is a major doubt. Now, when they say major doubt, I think it tends to mean he's struggling. He's at that age as well where he can't play every 2-3 days. He's played every game, right, guys? Am I right? Giroud's played every single game.
Yeah, every game. They could bring back Benzema, man. They could, but I think Benzema in that story is not going to happen. He trained for like a few days, I think, at Real Madrid.
I think it's going to be Marcus Thuram coming in.
Yeah,
that's what
it sounds like.
I'm suggesting. Now, Marcus Thuram can play. This is the decision, guys. Marcus Thuram can play wide left, or he can go through the middle. And then you put Marcus Thuram on the left, Mbappe through the middle, and Marcus Thuram also gives you that, what Avinash was talking about, the security on the left side, because Mbappe cheats, doesn't he, when he plays on that side? Almost like Liverpool plays Salah, or used to play Salah. Now what happens? If you play Marcus Thuram left and Mbappe through the middle, but then you negate Mbappe's one-on-one against Molina, and who's on that side? Romero.
Yeah. But still, Mbappe can drift if he wants. That's what I'm trying to say. We're playing that number 9. I'm not saying be a target man. You're not going to be a target man, Mbappe. You can be that guy that can drift left one time. You can drift right. You can stretch your team through the middle. A little overclip ball over the top. That's all the things that you can do when you're a number 9. That's why I want him to start up front. Thuram, left wing, fair enough. Thuram is a weird player. I know he's big. He's a strong runner. But sometimes when he goes one-on-one on goal, I've seen him miss so many chances. He's a good player. He's got a lot to his game that I like. It's just that finishing that seems to be letting him down. And that's probably why he hasn't got that big move yet, to
another player that's up for a move, Do you know much about Thuram, Marcus Thuram, Avinash? Do you have any thoughts on him?
Yeah, I heard we were even linked with him quite strongly.
Liverpool, yes.
He's on our short list or middle list, if you like, somewhere between a short list and a long list, right?
So yeah, he was absolutely. But yeah. I mean, I'm not his biggest fan, but if he has to come in tomorrow, how are you seeing that?
I think I'd take him, especially in the light of the injuries that we have right now. Again, I agree with you. I don't know, how old is he? Is he like early 20s?
Young.
Yeah. So then I think there is room to develop. I think he's a very good. He could be a very good Klopp player. He's got all of the power and the pace and the dribbling, and he can run in behind. He can stretch teams. Yeah, like Bilal said, I think his decision making and his finishing isn't the best, but that's what Klopp does. That's what he's been doing with so many players. Like all of these. But
what I mean is, what would you do with him tomorrow? Let's say Giroud. I think Giroud's.
Tomorrow. Okay.
I think it's likely Giroud misses out. The way the reports are coming out, I think Giroud may miss out. What do you do? Do you straight swap, or do you put Mbappe through the middle and Thuram to the left?
Yeah, that's a really tough one.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think I might say put Thuram up front just because, you keep the sort of system, but then it won't be the same because Thuram plays very different to Giroud. He's another player who likes to run in behind. He's more of a player who stretches defenses rather than comes in short. So given that, I think he did play Mbappe in the middle in the last game, right? In the second half. So probably that makes more sense right now because it did work in a way. We saw Mbappe, how he sort of did that, spun the defender, and that kind of the second goal, how that came about.
Shall I tell you why it's a key part of tomorrow's tactics, guys? Because the way Griezmann has been playing. Now, Griezmann has been playing brilliantly, and one of the reasons why he's been playing brilliantly is because of Giroud. Because Giroud is there offering him. Giroud is that, I've said it before, that wall that we all used to play up against when we were kids, right? You have a football and you love kicking the ball up against the wall because you know the ball's going to give the ball back to you and you can control it. Keep kicking the ball at the wall and you can control it and then you work from there. Mbappe won't do that. Benzema would have done that. Can Marcus Thuram do that?
I don't see it. I mean, I don't quite see it. That's not really his game. So they really don't have a like-for-like for Giroud, I think.
No.
Yeah, they don't have a like-for-like for Giroud. So that's a real problem right now. If Benzema was fit, then probably they could have alternated, or one of them could have dropped in if the other was injured. But this is a real issue. I don't know how he solves it. He has to. I think at least you can put Mbappe up front and maybe try and secure that left-hand side, because that might be something that Argentina were targeting potentially as a tactic. So that could like put their plans in disarray a little bit if he does that. So that's one thing to think about. Other than that, really, I think they just have to go with like a fluid front line, and they kind of interchange and things, which is really not how France play. They like to play a slightly more counter-attacking style, for which Giroud is absolutely crucial. He loves playing that sort of front two with Giroud and Griezmann. That's how they won the World Cup in 2018. That's how they've played a lot this time as well.
William, are you looking to mess up the system then? What are you doing then? If this overnight news seems to be true, and it's coming from L'Equipe, the main French source, we're saying he's struggling. Would you still risk him to start and see how far he can survive, how much he can survive, Giroud? Or would you go for a young, vibrant Thuram from the start, hungry, quicker, but a total different type of striker? Because Argentina, in my opinion, are going to look to dominate the midfield with that four that we've spoken about. They've pretty much dominated every team they've played in there. I think Argentina, I've got a hot take and wild take. I think France have got more goal-scoring threat, chance creation threat. I think Argentina got the more control in midfield.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Especially, obviously, we say Rabiot, Tchouaméni going to play Griezmann, but they've been working well, of course, because of that front three, so to speak, especially Giroud and Mbappe. The problem for me, right, is if Thuram plays on the left, cool. Kingsley Coman, I don't know if he's ill or anything, doesn't even seem to be getting mentioned. He's barely got a look in this tournament. I don't know what's happening with him. But the guy on the right, Ousmane Dembele, for me has been subpar.
Underwhelming?
He's not very underwhelming. Not good enough. Like, he will do a dribble and then nothing comes out of it. His final products, his end products has been terrible. For me, I've been saying I would have maybe dropped Ousmane Dembele for this final. And I know some people are saying, no, you can't drop him. Ousmane Dembele might do something. And tomorrow has to be the day he stands up. If he's going to play, Giroud's out. Benzema's not coming back. If you guys see Benzema, I'm just seeing him post stuff on Instagram like some cryptic,
what did that mean? What was it? What did it say?
I don't know. He just keeps posting pictures like...
he said something. Anybody's French know what it meant?
Yeah, someone tell us. He's like... I don't know what Benzema's on right now. It's like he's been asked to come back, or he wants to come back, but he's not been invited. Something's happened. Him and Deschamps are not obviously the best of friends. We know what's happened with them in the past. But Benzema's not going to be a factor in this game anyway. The question is now... Would you? If you were the coach and you've come this far without Benzema and the team spirit and the way you're playing, are you bringing back Mr. Benz himself? Clutch, Mr. Clutch. What are you two doing? Yeah. He said not interested.
Yeah, something like that. I thought I saw something like I don't care or something. It's very cryptic.
And he's still posting pictures. Let me see. I'll get this up.
Diego says, I think he just said, I don't care. Oh, what the fuck does that mean?
Let me get this up. Look what he's posted now, I think. You can see here, like, he's posting these kind of pictures. Peace. I don't know. What does that mean? The man's like 35 or something, man. Like, bro, what's going on?
Yeah, but I want to know how quickly his beard's grown as well in a couple of weeks that he's not being at the World Cup. My brother, look at him. So he's posting up cryptic shit. Now, let's not forget that he's still registered. So they haven't taken him off any squad list. Avinash, we've got a couple more people on. We're gonna let you go, but before we let you go, we're gonna put you on the spot, and we're gonna ask for a prediction and how this game is gonna go.
I'll say 1-0 Argentina in extra time.
Oh, that's gonna be tense.
Oh, extra time.
Yeah. I can see extra time.
Yeah.
And are you suggesting what millions around the world are suggesting, as in who's going to score the winner, or have you got a surprise for us? Is it going to be Otamendi from a set piece?
Could be. Could be. Could be him, or Alvarez has been on fire. Or it could be the magic man himself. We don't know. Yeah. But
Fair
he'll have a
enough.
role to play, whatever it is.
For
I feel.
sure, for sure, for sure,
Whether he
for sure.
scores or not.
Avinash, thank you very much, man. As usual, pleasure, my friend. Hope you
Big
enjoy
up, man.
the rest of your weekend, and hopefully, for your sake, for your top, Argentina win the trophy. Thanks very much, bro.
Yeah.
Look after yourself. Take care.
Take care, guys. Yeah.
Bye bye. Yeah, Benzema's pulse up. They've got me thinking, Bilal.
You can't bring him back. Them posts alone just show Benzema, stay home. You know, this is not energy. It's not energy you can bring to the dressing room. You know, last minute final, he's not even trained with the team, and then all of a sudden, this guy's got this weird, you know, aura about him and history with the French national team.
If it's Marcus Thuram, and Benzema, come on, man.
I know, but there's no guarantee Benzema just throwing him into a World Cup final. You know, he's
that's what you do with these. That's what you do with these
big
clutch
dogs.
kings. King clutch. Come on, man. The big dogs, man. Benzema.
I'd love to see him. In. I would, as a fan, someone watching.
He gets on with Mbappe, good. He gets on with Dembele, by all accounts, good.
Yeah, I don't think he has a problem with any of the players. The problem with him has always been him and Deschamps, and obviously we know what's happened with him and Valbuena and all of that kind of stuff that happened with them guys. But Benzema right now, he's just not an option. So we have to be realistic here and think, what should Deschamps do? Should he maybe pack out the midfield, bring in a Fofana? I know he's not been great, or Camavinga. Then go with the Griezmann, Mbappe, just two up front, kind of mirroring the Argentina.
Yeah. He could do that as well. He'd get slaughtered for it in the press, I think. But you got a good point there. Yo, you know, Bilal, you know, I done that. I done a poll, but I think it's gone on my community page. How'd you people? How do I put a poll in the chat? Can someone tell me how to do a poll in the chat? I'm in the YouTube studio. Bill's rubbish, man. I thought he's gonna teach me something, man, but you don't know, man.
Clueless.
But yeah. De Paul has been so average this tournament. I think he's grown into it, you know. Loudmouth football, bro. He hasn't been amazing, but he's grown into it. What do you think? De Paul's a strange, like, what's his role? He's playing in the, obviously, like on the wide right. Obviously, they play a narrow midfield, a box type of midfield, isn't it? Where it's Enzo and Paredes the deepest, and then McAllister to the leftish, and then De Paul to the rightish. As I said, no real width. You've been impressed with De Paul?
Yeah, well, recently, last few games, my feelings towards him have definitely changed. I think he's improved a lot in the last few games. There was a game earlier on, I think, was it group stages? It must have been at this point, you know, where he looked really bad. He looked like, why are you on the pitch? Everything was just going wrong for him. But I think now the team's playing better, and he himself has grown into this role. Like, he's understanding, this is what I have to do in the team. He's a good option. He's physical. He's good on the ball, both-footed pretty much. Sometimes when the ball does get stretched out wide and he has to go and try and get it, he might not be able to, but that's expected. It comes with the territory of playing this kind of narrow, you know, formation. Don't really have any wingers. So I think overall, he's actually had a good tournament, especially when it looks at one moment that he was going to have a stinker this whole tournament. So I think he's recovered pretty well from some of the earlier games, and he's showing me that, yeah, he's got the quality and understanding to like rise above, you know, some of the bad things that were happening earlier on. But that midfield, Enzo Fernandez as well, he's been just fantastic. I was speaking to one of my friends today. He went to watch Benfica earlier, I think a few months ago, and he was saying Enzo. He watched him. He didn't know who he was really. He watched him and he's just like, who's that guy there? Like, that guy is class. And it was Enzo Fernandez in the end. But for me, my guy in that midfield is definitely McAllister. Love that guy, man. Yeah, McAllister for me. Yeah, McAllister for me is just that. I just love him as a player. He's just got that, you know, technical ability that all the top midfielders need to have. I could see him playing a left centre mid row. I can see him playing a number 10. I could definitely even put him, I bet you, as a number 6 and let him just control the game. This is how good at football he is. He just understands football. So yeah, for me, McAllister and Enzo, obviously the two, like, you know, wow factors in that midfield. De Paul is the more dogged. He's gonna bring you a bit more physicality, a bit more grit, a bit more fight. But he has got the ability. We've seen it for Udinese. We've kind of seen it at times for Alessi. DePaul has got the ability as well to do something special. But this team, it relies on one man only, and that's Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi is a difference maker for that team. Without Messi, this system itself for me doesn't even work, because the way Messi picks up space, turns defenders, drives into space, and then with Julian Alvarez as well, I think without Messi, it'll be really hard to replicate some of the good things that they're doing. But right now, they've just found a thing that keeps them working, gets Messi in and out of the game like he likes. You kind of forget about him at times, and boom, Messi will do 2 or 3 things that just, take everyone out. I think now Argentina look good, but France, man, and Deschamps, he's got a lot of things to work on. And it's so sickness, injuries, everything bad.
Well, some more breaking news, and we always go by sort of get French football news is the ones to go to. By the way, King's Football Show, I hear you. I mean, I see you there. You don't need a camera because I know who you are. You've been on before. Just let me know. Are you there, bro? Send me a message, because I messaged you in the private chat. I don't know if you're there. So if you're ready, you're next to come on. Just let me know if you're ready, my bro. But yeah, here we go. The likely lineup.
Oh, Giroud.
What are you saying? Yeah, they're saying Giroud will be good to go. Talk to me.
Upamecano returns.
That's the one that's standing out to me, bro.
Yeah, they're getting cooked tomorrow. I'm sorry. This Upamecano, listen. There's things about him which I understand why managers like him. He's good on the
suddenly. Yeah. You know me. I was Ibu. I was Mr. Ibu fan. I'm not a France supporter. I hate the French. No, hate's a strong word. I don't support the French. But I support Ibu Konate. If Ibu Konate is not in this team, yallah. Messi has to bring home that cup, because now I've got no allegiances to this French team. Bro, if they drop Konate after the performance he put in, bro, that's cold.
You can't drop. Well, surely you can't. He's clearly probably the best centre back right now. Maybe Varane, of course, we'll give him his flowers. He's been ever present this tournament for France. But Konate was an absolute monster, against Morocco. Everything swept up. Absolutely everything. Sometimes he'd even come forward, win the ball header. I'm just thinking, what is this monster they've got sitting on the bench? And you're going to play Upamecano, who's shown, especially in that game against England, when it got tough, he probably, the first goal that France scored in that game was, a foul by Upamecano, if we're keeping it real, shouldn't have been allowed.
Clumsy, man. The brother's clumsy. He's not clean.
100%. But I think managers like him because he's progressive. He tries to progress the ball forward. He's good on the ball. All of this sort of nice stuff. Konate, if you're a guy who likes that kind of football, maybe you look at Konate and think, oh, maybe because of his size and his frame, he might look a bit awkward on the ball. But he's good as well. He's not bad player on the ball. But you know what makes him a guaranteed starter for me, if I was a manager, is that he's a defender. He knows how to tackle. He knows how to put his body in great positions. And in the box as well, if you've got Konate playing, right, any set piece that you can score from is a massive chance now, because Konate is shown as well aerially. He's pretty much a dominant force. So I don't understand why you wouldn't play him as well, to be honest. But that's Deschamps, man. He's got his favourites and he's going to keep running with them, and he'll die by them as well. If they don't win, it's up to him. But if they win, you can't say nothing. It's one of those ones.
It's true, though. Guys, 200 of you in here and only about 50 likes. Like, what does that mean even? Like, what does 50 likes compared to 200 people even mean? Like, I don't know what you're not doing here if you're not liking it. That means you're not liking it. That means you're not enjoying it, but you're still here. You get it? It don't make sense. Bilal, does it make sense to you? Like, if you're here, you must be liking it. Otherwise, you're so sick in the head that you're just here and you're not liking it. Like, we ain't forcing you to be here.
I'll give them benefit of the doubt. I say they're enjoying it so much, they just forgot to smash that like. Yeah, bit of a benefit of the doubt. So come on, guys, just hit that like button.
Bilal's a nice guy. Bilal's not like me. I'm nasty. Bilal's right. You forgot to like the stream. So we're just reminding you now, like the stream, and then we can continue. Arsenal Precinct says, dropping Konate is borderline match fixing. Pathetic. Bro, that's mad. If that's the case, Okay, Milo's right. He goes, that was it, Bilal. He just forgot. Okay, sorry. Okay, give me a break. Just been here for a minute. Okay, yeah. Fix your thing, bro. Fix your thing. No problem. Thuram's physicality against that tiny Argentina defense. Well, Giroud's the one in it with the physicality.
And actually maybe conducive to exploiting those weaknesses in terms of winning headers and all of that. Thuram, he's big and he's strong in all of this, but his best qualities are running in behind, on the ball, doing things. As I said, his finishing is a bit of an issue for me. That's why I think at 25 years old, he still hasn't managed to find that team that's willing to take a chance. And then maybe now, free transfer, we'll see where he goes, what level of team wants to sign him.
We've got some more insight, breaking news kind of thing.
I'm ready.
Lionel Scaloni operated a 3-5-2 shape in training with Argentina again today. It appears that they will use a similar shape tomorrow versus France that Morocco started the semi-final with. It didn't work for Morocco. Will it work for Argentina? And what's the thinking behind this then? What do you think? Obviously, it means that Messi will have a total free role behind Alvarez. Then it obviously means they take out a midfielder, which we spoke about. They love controlling the midfield. If that's the case, it's obvious Martinez comes in. Who drops out, Bilal?
Who drops out? Let's think. It's be one of the midfielders, right? Who would probably have to drop out.
Has to be. Paredes, McAllister, Enzo, or DePaul. DePaul, no. He loves DePaul.
It's probably Paredes then, right? Paredes is probably the one who's gonna miss out, I'd say. So Enzo will end up having to control the game in a lot of ways, I'd say. But Paredes, to be fair, he is a good player. He has shown that he can knit things, all together at times, but he's sometimes a bit behind the pace.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Look, even a few people are saying, Haroon says Paredes. My bro Saeed's in the building. He says over 200 and only 90 likes. He's right, man. It's embarrassing, man. Get on with the likes, man. People can't, man. Don't make me come for you lot. Because I can tell who hasn't liked, I've got this new app that I can tell who hasn't liked the stream. You know what I mean? So don't let me come for you, because I'm not scared to come for you individually, innit? But let's bring in the next caller as well. Maybe he's got something to say on this or something else. It's King's Football Show in the building. My brother, hope you're doing very well. Welcome to the stream.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Thanks for having me on.
Walaikum salam. No problem, brother. Always a pleasure.
For me, man, I have to be honest, this has been one of the most entertaining World Cups that I've ever witnessed. For me, it's up there in my top 3 for sure. I think when you look at the quality of the games, entertainment, these underdog stories, we have seen so many great stories and games, and big up to the players, man. They've really turned up for this World Cup, even with all the negative press and everyone trying to really undermine the World Cup and what football is all about and what World Cup is about. World Cup is about culture. It's about people from different places and different communities coming to one place and enjoying the sport that they love more than any other sport. And they try to undermine that, but big up the fans, big up the players, and it's been great to see, man, honestly. And
I agree with you, bro. I agree with you totally. I'm so sorry to and I totally agree with you, bro. It's been everything that you'd expect or want from a World Cup in terms of a lot of shocks along the way, all the group matches meaning something all the way to the end, no dead rubbers, jeopardy in the quarterfinals, jeopardy in the semi-finals. And then at the end of everything, we've got 2 of the top 3 teams in the world, or the favorites in the final. So I guess that suggests a near perfect tournament in terms of from the football point of view. We've had a couple of decisions with the referee controversy, not too many. I don't think there's been any. Would you say there's been many blunders in terms of refereeing decisions that you can say that changed the game completely and tilted it one way? There's always a couple, right?
Yeah, maybe it was just an England game. That was about it. Argentina,
again.
No, go for it. Go
Oh,
for
yeah,
it.
no, go on. I was just saying a few things. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, for me, we've seen again that the referees, they are not at the same level as they need to be. I think that's that. I mean, we haven't seen anything we don't see in the Premier League or in Champions League or in other European teams. It's just that the referees are struggling these days to be, in the game and make the right decisions, because I think they've taken, it's now all is down to your own, kind of view on the situation. It's not a clear law on what's a foul or what's a penalty or what's a handball. It's all, you know, depending on what the referee decide that day. This is what I feel is a foul. Then he gives it or don't give it. But other than that, no, I agree. There hasn't been any kind of major scandal for me.
Grizz, you're on mute, by the way. I don't know if you know, but yeah, I agree.
Sorry,
with what you're
Bilal.
saying,
Sorry, I was going to
100%.
say, what do you think? Yeah, I was going to say, sorry,
Yeah,
Bilal.
no, I agree 100%. This tournament for me, I've been saying this. For me, the best World Cup I've seen in my lifetime. I said I'm only in my 20s, man. So I've only seen like 2006 was the first World Cup I really remember, and after that, 2010, 2014, 2018. So for me, maybe I haven't got the biggest scope of World Cups, to look back and be like, oh, this one was better. But for me, in my life, in terms of entertainment and everything, just in terms of football, I've really enjoyed this World Cup so much, man. I just think it's just been a great tournament. And I think the reason for that is there hasn't been a dominant force throughout the tournament. A lot of the tournament, I was going through it thinking, I'm not really sure who's going to win. Oh, maybe Brazil will do it just because of their squad and the players that they have. But even Brazil, they weren't amazing. They didn't have R9 and Ronaldinho. Let's keep it real. They've got Vinicius Jr., Richarlison. It's not the same level as they used to be. So I think the playing field was quite level. This tournament. I think that's what made it quite enjoyable to watch.
It's true. It's because it's because we've come to the final, and I don't think any of us confidently say who's going to win. Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty of the game, and that's the beauty of a tournament. It's the ideal scenario where right up to even today's third and fourth place playoff, we didn't really know. We thought Croatia might take it easy, Morocco might win. Obviously, in the end, Croatia won quite comfortably, pretty much. But tomorrow, can we confidently predict? Like, what's your thoughts going into tomorrow, Kings? How do you see it panning out? Did you have this as the final? Be honest with me. Who was your prediction? Because we know me and Bilal are going to be honest. Me and Bilal changed our minds every week. If you saw the World Cup shows, we were shameless. We done the predictor every day, and it was a different scenario.
Well, all I'll say is the first prediction we did before the tournament, we had Argentina winning. That's all I'm going to say.
Fair play. For me, I had France making the final, and it was between Argentina and Brazil for me. I really thought Brazil was going to make the final, and we were going to see another 98 final. But fair play to Argentina, fair play to Messi. I mean, I'm so happy for him because I know how much it means to him and his country that he's there in that final. And a lot of people have questioned him and said that he's finished and he's not the same player and all of that. And just keep on turning up in every game and showing that, he's still got them skills in his body, even though the pace is gone, the brain is there, the technical ability is there. And I just think we just need to make the most of watching him. It's been a pleasure to see him come through as a young wonder kid and probably one of the few wonder kids who lived up higher than was expected of him. Messi.
Yeah, look.
But you got France as well with Kylian. Is he gonna make it back to back? And where does that put him then in terms of all timers already at that age? It's a lot of scenarios that can happen. It's crazy.
That's what makes it brilliant, right? All these scenarios, I don't know. I can't predict it, man. Like, obviously now Giroud's supposedly supposedly going to be fit. Rabiot's back.
Yeah.
The Upamecano one is worrying me, but it's obviously his favorite. sometimes managers do that, right? They play with their favorites. Do you agree with that one?
Yeah.
If he plays Upamecano, we don't know for sure. It's just a prediction from the Quip. They're suggesting that. Would you would you understand it?
I mean, the thing is this: I would have chosen Konate if I'm honest. I think he's on another level than Upamecano, and I think a lot of the things that Upamecano has, Konate has as well. But he's just a much better defender for me. But the thing is, the way Argentina plays, they don't really play with a physical striker, and with Alvarez's pace, Upamecano is going to struggle. And that's where you want Konate, because he got the recovery pace as well as the physicality. So that could be a minus for France. And if Messi has a free role, we're going to have to ask a lot for Rabiot and Tchouameni to mark him out of the game. So it's going to be interesting to see who we choose. For sure.
Bilal, how's it looking, man, towards these now that we've got these options coming up now? Like now that we know that it could be 3-5-2 for Argentina, and then Upamecano playing in a 4. What's France's system, would you say, guys?
It's like a
4-2-1-3.
Yeah, 4-2-1 kind of, but it's like a 4-3-3 to be honest, in a lot of ways, because Rabiot is very dominant on that left-hand side, and Griezmann is playing kind of like an 8. He's tracking back so much. He's not playing as a pure 10. He's dropping deep. He's winning the ball, and he's hugging more that right-hand side. But of course, at times, because he has the freedom, he can just float about anywhere. But his work rate makes him, when they defend, a lot of the times he's coming deep on that right. Rabiot as well. His job is not even really to go up and down, the pitch like a normal box to box. His job is more to go, side to side, and sometimes cover that left hand space with Theo Hernandez and Mbappe, especially. So it's very interesting. The midfield three of France is quite flexible when they play, but I would call it more of a 4-3-3, not really a 4-2-3-1 when you watch them play. But we're talking about Mbappe and Messi. Really, the way the game's looking, if they play a 3-5-2, if Scaloni plays a 3-5-2 and Messi's got a free role, this could end up being like Messi versus Griezmann. Really, who's gonna be the one that unlocks everything? Because Griezmann's been that main creative outlet pretty much for France. Mbappe in the last 2 games for me hasn't been that good, because a lot of the times he's just staying on the left. He's not really impacting the game because he's being snuffed out. Once you get in lockdown on that right-hand side, it doesn't matter if you're Mbappe, you can be isolated. And that's why I want Mbappe to come more central, play up front, and be that guy. That's why now Giroud, maybe being fit, might play more into Argentina's hand to control the game. But Messi versus Griezmann, I think that's going to be the thing there. Who's going to be more creative? Who's going to be the one that finds that killer pass, that space, and is a smarter player on the day? For me, that's the battle that I'm looking at in terms of like who's going to be that main guy in the team. But also, if Ousmane Dembele decides to turn up in this game, right? He's been shocking for me, to be honest, the last 3 games. If Dembele turns up tomorrow, France have a big chance of winning this game, purely down to having now another option that in the last 3 games hasn't really been performing. But tactically right now, I favor Argentina. The more I think about the game, the more I look at the way both teams have played, I do fancy Argentina. But if France do it, man, it would be special. 2 in a row. And we need to start respecting France on the same level as a Brazil, as a Germany. Because when you talk powerhouse nations, France is definitely that. How many finals have they been to in the last 5 or 6 World Cups, man? They're there nearly or thereabouts nearly every tournament.
Kings, bro, what are you saying?
Would you agree that France is almost turning to what Brazil was in the 90s and early 2000s, where I think they went to 3 straight World Cup finals from 94 to 2002, and they won 2 and lost the 1 to France, where they, every World Cup, they're just going to go far because of the amount of talent that they keep on producing.
Simple. I totally agree with you. People have slept on this French team, squad, generation, call it what you want. We're talking about a French squad that's on the verge of back-to-back World Cup finals. We're talking about a squad that's without pretty much 4 first-teamers that can come top of my head. So Kante, Pogba, Benzema. Help me out, guys. Who else?
Nkunku.
Who?
Yeah, Nkunku got injured.
Nkunku out the squad, vital member of the squad. The left back that they started off with, Lucas Hernandez.
Yeah, Hernandez, yeah.
Okay, Pavard's in and out of favour. Centre back, they've got Kimpembe missing. I know he's not great, but he's still part of their squad and he's rated highly by the manager. We're talking 5, 6 key players that are not even involved.
The depth is ridiculous because even if now Konate and Varane were out, right, they could just bring in a Saliba. Like who has this level of depth? And then at home, of course, we said the Kimpembes and all these guys. This level, they can have 3, 4 squads of players who could probably challenge for the World Cup. And I don't think many countries have that. Even Brazil, you look at their squad and we think because it's Brazil and it's it's Brazil, the name and everything, that they've got this super squad and depth. But in reality, when you really break it down, there's no country in football that produces players on the level of France. They produce player after player after player. Even, to be honest, you look at the North African players who are playing for the Moroccos and Algeria, most of them are coming through the French system. Exactly, Senegal. Most of these players have come through that French system playing in France. And their football over there is just different. The only problem for them, I think, is their league. Maybe they haven't invested in it well. They haven't marketed it properly because most of their players end up going to England and going to Spain quite early and making it there. But if they really marketed their league properly, kept their players, which I think they tried to do with Mbappe, Macron got involved, told him, listen, you're the star of France, you're the star of PSG, please stay in France. If they can develop their own league as well, there's no reason why France shouldn't have many good teams. But I think, of course, marketing, all of that sort of stuff, it's probably too late now. It's one of those ones. It's 2022. It's hard to get a league to that level. But they've got the players, man. If they could keep their talent in their country, imagine what they could be doing even at club level. Marseille, all of the big clubs that they have. I know Saint Etienne, been going through problems. Lyon, all of these sort of clubs maybe could do something in the future. But yeah, that's just, I guess, another point maybe to think about for them as the years go on.
I wanted to ask your opinion, Kings, how you think tomorrow's game is going to pan out then? How do you see the game?
I think it's going to be a typical final. We've got 2 very tactical coach. I don't think it's going to be like an explosive end-to-end entertaining game. I think Argentina is going to play, sit on the fence and rely a lot on Messi and Alvarez to lock up that French defense. And France with Deschamps, they're going to try and dominate the ball. But, Argentina with their midfield, they're also going to try and dominate the ball. So it's going to be like a chess game. And I think it's going to go down to individual brilliance. It's going to win the game to one of the teams. So it's either going to be, like you said, a Griezmann or Mbappe or even a Dembele, or to go down to Messi or Alvarez or, De Paul or McAllister, It's really going to go down to that, I think. Whoever really turns up is going to win that game. And I'm really looking forward to it, I'm really looking forward to it. And I hope that Messi wins it. And it's because for me, I love Messi, I have so much respect and admiration for Ronaldo, but I prefer Messi. I'm just going to say it as it is. Personally, he's my type of baller. And the fact that he's been so good for so long, and he almost matches Ronaldo when it comes to goal scoring, and when it comes to creativity and passing and assist, he's on his own level. That's, for me, what makes him the GOAT.
I don't think many people would argue with you. I don't think so. I think it's pretty much set in stone now from a lot of people that had maybe were 50-50 going into this tournament and sort of waiting for this tournament to pan out and see how it pans out. I done a show for 90 minutes at the start of the World Cup, and one of the questions that was put to me was who's going to be the biggest flop of the World Cup. And I said Cristiano Ronaldo, and everyone was like, "Oh, shut up, Grizz, you just hate Ronaldo." And I was like, "Okay, I'm here, you're here, God willing. Unless if God takes my life, then there's nothing I can do about that. But if He doesn't, I'm going to be here, and we're going to face the music, and I'm going to look like an idiot." Because everyone was talking about this is Ronaldo and Messi shoulder. And I said, Ronaldo's going to make a fool of himself in this World Cup. And lo and behold, Ronaldo was made a fool of himself, really, in this World Cup. On and off the pitch, the way his attitude was, everything. And for me, there's no question. But this is what's key, though. When we get into these kind of debates, people, in my opinion, sometimes it gets a bit too skewed one way. Like, it doesn't mean Ronaldo's not one of the greatest players of all time. Like Cristiano Ronaldo, because I remember growing up and watching Cristiano Ronaldo, people. I'm that old. Cristiano Ronaldo was a phenomenal player when he was young. Phenomenal. He could do everything. He used to play left wing, cutting, boom, hardest shot you've ever seen, swerve, dip. He could take on many tricks. He used to control the ball down his chest. I think we lost King. Yeah. He could do everything. He was a fantastic baller. So people, obviously, when you talk about two greats, people think automatically, because you're bigging up one, you're thinking you're saying the other one's not all that. Nah, none of that. None of that.
Yeah, you know what? For me though, 100% Ronaldo is an all-timer as well. But I've never understood why. To be honest, you can't look at football and ever tell me that Ronaldo is better than Messi. It's never been for me a proper debate to have, and I think people were just saying it because maybe one, they don't like Barcelona. I don't know. Maybe they just want something to be different. Because if you're watching football, you can't watch Messi and just not look at that guy and be like, you're the best player in the world of his generation. I'm not talking about in the past, but of his generation, 100%, he is the best player that we've ever seen out of this last 20 years. So I know people wanted to debate Ronaldo and Messi, and I don't think you should use this World Cup as well. If some people are using this World Cup to say, to make up your mind, that's ridiculous as well, because like Ronaldo is not the Ronaldo he was even 5 years ago.
Yeah, of course. Agree with that as well, 100%. We shouldn't judge Ronaldo on this, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's not be unfair on Ronaldo as well. We try to keep it fair on this channel. We try to keep it real. So we can't say that, oh, look at Ronaldo. That's Ronaldo. Nah. Ronaldo was different. But people are messaging me up in sort of with Liverpool news in the background as well. Obviously, I'm a Liverpool fan, so people are letting me know what Twitter's saying. Matteo Morato, very, very reliable journalist, says Liverpool would meet with Ismail Benacer's entourage in less than 2 weeks to discuss Klopp's project and how they want the player to join them at Anfield. Yeah, I know we have interest in him, but I believe that he's probably going to sign an extension at AC Milan. But I like him, and he'd be very cheap. I believe he's got about 2 years left on his contract. No? Or is it running down?
Yeah, I'll double check.
Yeah, I think it's running down. That's why. Sorry, I beg your pardon. So, yeah, that would be someone 100% we'd be interested in, because if we're looking at the likes... Oh, 2020. Yeah. There you go. So he has got 2 years. I was right. So, yeah, but he's an interesting player for sure. Definitely. Let's bring in the next caller. We've got Asana Precinct. My brother, hope you're doing very well.
I'm great. How you guys doing today?
We're doing okay, man. We're just excited, pumped up for the World Cup final. It's been a long month or 5 weeks or whatever it's been. We're ready to end it in style. But more importantly, how are you and what do you want to talk about?
It's been really a great World Cup, aside from the usual English, all I call the agenda around the World Cup. But it's been a fantastic World Cup for me. I've enjoyed all the games, the glitz, the glamour, the controversies, the refereeing decisions, VAR. I've enjoyed it. I think it has been a fantastic World Cup, in my own personal opinion.
Who was there a team that you were supporting or backing, and has it come to light?
I was backing Argentina from the inception because I have a personal bias towards Messi. I think he's the greatest player I've ever seen playing. His trickery is next to none. I don't think I've ever seen a player do what Messi does naturally.
Mm-hmm.
No coach can teach you how to play that way. He turns up in big matches. I've watched him actually destroy my team Arsenal a few times. But regardless, I like to be objective. I think he's a fantastic player. He has made football look very easy. Sometimes when I watch Messi, I'm like, only God can give you such gifts. He's a total player. So I'm biased towards Argentina winning because of Messi, and I'm very happy that he has made to the final, and I think they can win it. But in terms of let's be real, in terms of player quality, I think the French have superior player quality. But I like something about the South Americans. They are going to bring in a bit of shithousery tomorrow. They're going to make it a dirty game. That's the only way they can beat. For me, that's the only way they can win the game. If they go toe to toe instead of tactics and playing the game the conventional way, I don't think they can win the match. But if they introduce shithousery, a little bit of kicking and tugging, and you know how these players can be, South American players. I think they could win the match tomorrow.
You talk about sort of shithousery from the Argentina, but France don't lack it, really, do they? Didier Deschamps was one of the original shithousery. People that may be obviously too young to remember Didier Deschamps as a player. Well, I'm here for you guys. Didier Deschamps was one of those annoying players, very much in the mold of who shall I compare him to in the modern day era. Just one of those guys that you never notice too much on the pitch, but would be there in every tackle, interception, niggling away, intercept a pass and then take the foul and go down. One of those guys, very efficient with the ball, not spectacular, no outstanding skill. So he knew all about shithousery, and I think he's got this team playing in a very similar vein. I don't know if you agree with that.
Okay, Grace, I agree with that to a certain level, right? Let's not forget what they did to Zidane. Remember that? Materazzi?
Right.
So,
what do you mean?
By how they was riled up and was sent off in that final against France.
You mean how the opposition riled him up?
Yeah, I see. South American players, it comes natural to them.
But it was Italy. Give you an example. It was Italy that riled him up.
No, it was Italy that riled the French up. That was against Zidane. They riled Zidane up for that match. It was on. So let me give you another player. Do you know Acuna that plays the left back?
Mm-hmm.
Why do a lot of fans don't like him?
I don't know. Bilal, do you like him?
I think because of some of his decision making, not because of his general ability. It's okay.
He's not your classic, very great left back, but he knows how to get a job done. He knows how to annoy. He knows how to stop and start the matches. He's not your strong defender, but he knows how to make up for those things by just getting that opposition skin and there. See, for me, let's not just pick from the objective of the match, right? I'm going to just stay on my point. I think man for man, the French are superior. Player for player. The only way the Argentines can win it is to just drag the match down to some bullshit. That's the only chance. I think so. Messi and Alvarez are quality players that can actually decide the match. Aside from those two, if we do a combined 11, none of the Argentine players will get to a combined 11, aside from those from Messi and Alvarez. Let's be real.
Bilal, shall we?
That's a good idea.
Let's do combined 11 right now. Let's be objective. Aside from Messi and Alvarez.
We won't do it right now because we've got a few callers and we've got a few other things to talk about. But we may do it near the end of the show when we've covered the topics that we want to cover. But I don't know, man, bro. I think you're underestimating this Argentinian team, man.
I'm just being objective. I told you my bias towards Argentina, right? I want them to win, but I'm going to be objective. If we do player for player, aside from Alvarez and Messi, who gets into the combined 11? Nobody else.
I think the right back Molina is ahead of Koundé, in my opinion.
I don't think so.
I think Enzo Fernandez gets into that team somewhere.
Ahead of who?
Okay, so Rabiot has been good, and just this World Cup has been, but as an overall player, would you take Rabiot over Enzo Fernandez right now?
I will before the World Cup. I would never even go close to Rabiot. But based on the performance we've seen, I'll take Rabiot. He has been fantastic. He has been. I don't like him personally for the shenanigans of his agent and his wife and his mother, whatever. But based on footballing reasons, he has been fantastic. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm. Would you take the keeper?
Maybe I'll take Martinez ahead of Spurs.
So
I don't like.
I've managed to squeeze a couple more in there.
I'll give you two. I'll give you two. Right.
We're looking a little bit balanced.
Okay.
I mean, I don't rate Upamecano like that.
But
unless you're saying Konate, of course I'll say Konate, but I'm not rating Upamecano like that. Mm-hmm. The Argentinian, if you're gonna say Rabiot's been superb in this World Cup, and I agree with you, not superb, I think he's been very good, then I'm not gonna let you talk down Otamendi in this World Cup. Because Otamendi, for me, I've never rated Otamendi, but he's been fantastic in this World Cup.
I think your choice of words is you are not representing the English media. I don't say fantastic. I would say it has been good. Fantastic is pushing the limits.
I think fantastic for Rabiot is pushing the limits.
No, he has been. Did you say the goal is scored against who? There was a goal scored that he bought through the midfield. I never seen him strike.
There was a goal Enzo Martinez. Have you forgotten one of the goals of the World Cup Enzo Martinez scored?
But Enzo Martinez is not pushing above what he has shown for Benfica. But Rabiot is pushing the limit above what he has shown for Juventus.
I'm here to fight the cause, man. I'm not.
We're having a healthy debate, and I'm enjoying it.
I'm look. Which criteria are we using? Are we using criteria for the form of the shown for the club and country, or are we basing it on just their 3-4 performances in the World Cup? How would we do a World Cup? How would you do a World Cup 11? How would you do it? Combine 11.
I would just. I'll do it on the World Cup. I'll do it on the World Cup.
Yeah, let's do it on the World Cup. On the performance on the World Cup. That would be the best way to go about it.
If you do it on the World Cup, then Acuna, you just talked about Acuna, not me. You just talked about Acuna being how good has he been. Yet
I say he has not been that great. I say, but just manages to just find his way using shithousery to just manipulate.
So he's changing it now. Have
you no. If you play it back, I didn't say Acuna has been good. I said I'll just an example.
Your question to me and Bilal was, why do people hating on Acuna?
Yeah, I said he's not great. Listen to what I said. He's not great. I said he just knows how to deploy a bit of shithousery, he's not a good tackler, but he finds the way to just make it work. I didn't say he has been great.
But let's be honest, right? When the Argentina players were going all mad, in the Dutch game, and the Dutch team rose and said, "You know what, little men, we're gonna take you out." Argentina players started crumbling.
No. See, we Dutch are naturally are bigger than the Argentines, but the Argentines found a way to kick I think it was Paredes that kicked the ball into the Dutch bench, rile them up, take the focus off the match for a little bit, get them agitated. Who still won the match?
Yeah, they won the match, but the game changed because it became 2-2. It became 2-2, and the momentum, shifted even more to the Dutch after that because they were already losing their way. They weren't really controlling the ball, and they started trying to do, the little dirty tactics to try and get control of the game. Paredes, I think he tried to tackle Aki, wiped him out, and then Van Dijk comes, sat him down, and then everyone just rose, and the Argentina players lost control of the situation. If you're going to do the dirty tactics and try and, rile a team up, you have to always keep control in some aspect. I think Atletico Madrid, they did that really well. I know they lost to Man City. And if you guys remember the way they were bullying like Phil Foden and all their players, they kicked them off the pitch. But the Atleti players were never, they never lost control of what they were doing, but they were rattling Man City. I know they didn't win in the end. They just didn't have the quality.
You see, it goes up.
They did it properly.
You're not pointing back to my logic. They rattle, but they never won at the end. Sometimes you can win with shithousery. Sometimes you might not win. There's no guaranteed result for shithousery. What I'm saying is that people can deploy it, and it could actually make them win. Like I've seen main result of my point. I love Argentina to win because of Messi, because I'm biased towards them. But if I look at it objectively, I'm like the French team are superb in terms of quality. They are just better.
No, I agree with you. I look. I'm just trying to make I was playing devil's advocate as I often do. When I see one extreme opinion, I usually like to slightly extreme. Like you said, only 2 players. I think you said only 2 of the Argentinian
Messi and
players.
Alvarez.
Yeah, Messi.
Listen, even if you've just conceded Messi and Alvarez, this is probably the difference making positions on the pitch. You're saying Argentina have more than France. And France have Mbappe, but if Mbappe is stopped, Dembele for me, I don't trust him to do anything. He might do. You never know with Dembele. He might just turn up. But so far, he's showing me he might not. Giroud as well. You never know. He might miss a few chances. He might score. You still don't know, even though he's of course improved a lot over the last few years and he's been doing really well for France. I still look at the Argentina team in the middle now. I think they can control this game. I think up front with Alvarez and Messi, they can cause damage. The more I think about the game, to be honest, right, before we even started the show, I was more like, I'm not really sure who's going to win. The more we start talking, I just feel like Argentina are going to win. The more I just think about the game. But yeah, that's why tomorrow is going to be good because everyone.
Yeah, those players have been like Messi and I'm sorry. Can I talk now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I interrupted you. Sorry about that. I just there are two players that have X factor in this game, in my opinion, which is Alvarez and Messi. Those guys can change the game anytime. Now we have Mbappe on the side of the French team, but the last two games he has been relatively quiet. I use the word relatively quiet. But when it comes to players that are used to playing high pressure game, Messi loves to play those games. He was born for high pressure games. Now in the last two games, I never trusted Alvarez, but he has shown me that he can step to the plate too. So that's why I'm saying if those two players are on their game tomorrow.
We've got Omar in the building who usually has one right prediction in about 10 and then he doesn't stop talking about it. This is one of those predictions that definitely won't happen. Argentina, I don't think Argentina will win 3-0. I don't even think it will be that one-sided at all.
That's so ambitious for me. 3-0.
So go on then, Asana.
I'm listening.
Tell us we're going to let you go now because we've got a few people that want to come in.
Okay, thanks for having
me. We cannot let you go because you've been so good and I've enjoyed talking to you and you've been so positive about this combined 11 only having two players. We want to hear your combined 11 and then we want to hear your prediction. And then when you're very badly wrong, we want you to come in next week and say,
okay,
I'm sorry, guys.
Okay. If I'll start from the goalkeeper, I'll put in Martinez. On the right back, I'll still go with Conde. Center half, I'll go with Konate and Varane. Left back, I'll go with Hernandez. In the middle of the pack, I'll go with Rabiot, Tchouaméni, Griezmann. Then on the left side, I will go with on the left side. I'll go with Mbappe. In the middle, I'll go with Messi, and so in the middle, I'll go with Alvarez. On the other side, I'll go with Messi.
Fair enough. No problem. I think you've. Which one did you bottle it? I think you've bottled one. You've picked Konate when he's not even likely to be in the team for the World Cup final. So. That's a bit cheap one. That's a cheap one. That's a cheap one.
He's ill. He should be able to play. I don't think he's injured. Is he injured?
No, he's not injured, but this is what I mean. So how can you put him in a combined 11 when he's not even in the French 11 for the World Cup final? Do you get what I'm saying? There can be.
He played the last match. He played the last match. He played the last match, right?
Yeah, but
I know he did
by circumstances, not by choice of the manager.
By
he just played because he had to play. Otherwise,
how do we confirm that the manager has not changed his mind?
What do you mean?
The French media reports if Upamecano is fit, he's going to play. Same with Giroud. If he's fit, he's going to play.
So if Upamecano plays tomorrow, then it will be 3-0. That prediction will come true because it's a car crash.
I can agree with this one.
Messi will love to play against Upamecano or Alvarez. They will love him. I will love to play against Upamecano myself.
Let's finish off with your prediction, sir.
So I'm going for 2-0 win tomorrow. Argentina.
2-0 who?
2-0 to Argentina.
What have you just done here?
You can't do this.
No. I said no. You asked for combined 11. I gave my combined 11. I told you based if we're going to try to be objective, French have a better players, but Argentina have two marquee players that can win the game. That's what I said. I even said that my bias is towards Messi winning the World Cup. I've remained consistent. I've not changed my mind. But if I'm going to be objective, I'm looking at the fact that the French have the better players. But I want Argentina to win.
Hold on. I'm going to mute you because I know you're going to butt in. No, I'm not going to mute you. I'm gonna hope that you don't butt in, and tell me where I'm wrong.
Okay.
You can butt in when I'm wrong.
Okay.
Otherwise, you don't butt in. You've just picked and glorified a French team in a combined team, and you've favoured Bilal. Help me out. 9 or 8 players. Bilal,
The whole defense, the whole midfield, Mbappe plus Messi, Alvarez.
No, he gave the goalkeeper. He gave the goalkeeper.
Yeah. But it's in the whole defense in terms of that outfield players, the whole midfield.
Yeah.
Mbappe.
He says they're all better players than the Argentina players, and because we use the criteria of the World Cup, so he's suggesting all of those players, 8 of those outfield players, have been better than the Argentinian players in this World Cup. Yet, in the end, he's predicted an Argentina win. Am I right, Asana?
You're right.
Okay, now you have a minute or so to explain your rationale and your logic to suggest that 8 out of the 10 outfield players of the French have been better than the Argentinian team. Are you suggesting that Messi and Alvarez is input and output and performances outweigh the rest of those 8, including Mbappe and Griezmann, who you have said has been 2 of the best players of the tournament, outweigh the rest of this team? Make it make sense. You've got about a minute.
Have remained consistent, and I'm going to continue to say. I'm saying, if I'm going to be objective, the French have superior players to the Argentine players, and we know football doesn't go by objectivity. You are going to always push football is a formula. Let's not forget that. I'm still going to say what I'm saying. The French players are better on paper. Football is played on grass, and I believe that Argentina will win. Doesn't mean their players are superior. We've seen Burnley beat Arsenal or beat Liverpool. Are they superior players? No. You don't win just because you are better players in football. You don't win because you are better players. On the day, things can switch. And I believe Alvarez and Messi will win the match for Argentina. But if we're going to go by the logic of what we can put on paper that looks logical, the French should win. That's what I'm going by.
I understand, and you've explained it very well. I take back my shock and surprise in what you were saying. Now you've explained it very well. The examples that you used, I see what he means, Bilal. Do you see what he means?
He believes in the power of Lionel Messi. That's what he's saying. Messi
and Alvarez.
with his.
I think what he's suggesting is the best. I think
triumph.
in a long-winded way and brilliantly entertaining way, what he's come to the conclusion, and I agree with him, what he's suggesting is the best team doesn't always win. Sometimes the team that knows how to do, what to do, when to do, gets through, and he thinks that team is going to be Argentina. Am I right?
Exactly.
Thank you very much. You've been wonderful. We like to hear from you next week when the French are winning, lifting the World Cup, and then I have no doubt you will come in next week and say, "I told you that the French were better players."
I would like to come back and use your phrase against you.
Either way,
I like to use football as a formula against you again.
You're gonna use my line against me. I can't wait. Thank you very much, Asna. You've been wonderful, man. Hope to.
Thanks for having me.
Look after yourself.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, but I see what he means. You know, it makes sense what he said. Look, the best team doesn't always win. On paper, football's not played on paper. He's right. The majority, and I've said it as well. I tweeted it the other day. The majority of this French team is better than the Argentinian team on paper. But Argentina's team spirit, passion, desire, the organization they've showed is a leveler. And then you've got on top of that, the X factor, which is Lionel Messi.
And it's not like they're so much better. You look at that midfield for Argentina. I could argue Enzo Fernandez and McAllister in that midfield. And I could have a good argument over the French players. And that's how good they have been for, Argentina this tournament and in general for their clubs this season. I understand, obviously, of course, Rabiot, Griezmann, Tchouameni have been fantastic as well. But France haven't been that great. A lot of the games they've not had the ball. Even against Morocco pretty much dominated them a lot of that game. But what France have had is that, just ruthlessness up front. They've managed to just score when they had to score. But now they're coming up against Argentina. If they don't take control of that ball properly, Messi, you give him an inch, he will take a mile. You know, he will take it all. And Alvarez the same. He's shown he's a dog, and he will do everything to score a goal as well. So, yeah, for me,
what did you say about Alvarez? A dog? What did you say? How did you describe?
Yeah, I just said he's a dog. I just watch him, man. He's a dog. He'll just do anything, bite at everything, and he'll make sure that he gets his goal at the end of the game. And that's why he's got that proper striker instinct about him. Even the goal against Croatia, at the time, I was thinking, Croatia, man, how have you conceded that goal? But the more I watch it back, I'm just like, you know what? It's just Alvarez just being a dog, and he's got that goal, and the finish in the end was just calm. Everything was good. I look at this Argentina team. I think tomorrow, to be honest, the more we talk about it, I'm just getting a good feeling for them. And I wasn't like this the last 2 days. I promise you. I was so like, I don't know what's going to happen.
I think Asana Precinct has got into your head, and he's. I'm telling you, I still make France the favourites, me personally. Not by much. I just think they've got the know-how.
Listen, as soon as I saw Upamecano starting, that's already given. And I'm hearing Scaloni's tactics for tomorrow. I'm getting more excited. I don't think
Argentina have played well in that 3-5-2, Bilal.
It's one of those ones. They've ended up using it when they've needed to, like maybe hold a lead and all sorts. They've not used it to start a game. And I think with starting a game, and I know Lisandro is going to play, he's going to be key. He's good on the ball as well. In possession, that's another player that's going to help them. Even though we talk about Paredes might be out, I think Lisandro Martinez coming in is going to help. The fullbacks are going to be pushing on. I think the idea, obviously, that's why the Moroccans did it.
I think they're trying to double
the
up
wide
on
men.
both sides.
Yeah.
Dembele
and let
Giroud, Mbappe,
Giroud, let's be honest, man, he's not going to run in behind. So there's not that threat if he plays. He's going to have to hold the ball. And if Giroud and Griezmann as well, they haven't played so close to each other, obviously, because of the way Griezmann's playing. Argentina can take control of this game. I can see them really I just can see Argentina win. The more we talk about it tomorrow, I'm not going to be surprised if Argentina just, have a really good game and get
interesting
2-0 win or something. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm getting more confident as we speak. But this might bite. Listen, in the semi-finals, guys, I did like 4 predictions, right? All 4 were wrong. I got everyone wrong. So Argentina, I'm gassing you guys up. But tomorrow, if Mbappe just turns up and Dembele decides to play like he should, listen, I'm sorry. It was my fault. I hold my hands up.
100%. I've learned anyway very quickly that whatever Bilal and Omar say, do the opposite, predict the opposite, and you've got a very good chance of getting things right. Let's bring in another couple of callers. We've got another one waiting, and we're going to bring in Trav. I think it's his first time. Trav, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well, my friend.
Hey, good evening. Yeah, it is my first time. Thanks for having me on.
Amazing. Excellent. Tell us where you're calling from and what would you like to speak about?
Well, I'm calling from Bermuda, so unfortunately, we've never represented.
Amazing. What time is it in Bermuda now?
4 hours behind you, so it's about.
Come back.
Okay, we can't quite hear you.
Yeah, there's some split in and out.
Let's hope
okay, hold on. Give me a sec.
It seems fine now. It seems okay. Mute. Unmute yourself.
Cool. We good?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Bermuda Triangle things, So
yeah. Exactly that.
Tax haven. That's all I know.
Behind you.
Oh, 4 hours behind.
Yeah, 4 hours behind. Yeah.
Okay, not bad. So, yeah, man, tell us. You've enjoyed this World Cup. What do you want? Maybe you want to talk about something else. Talk to us. It's all about you.
Cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, we can discuss the cup a little bit. Grizz, I'm actually really excited that I'm able to talk to you because I saw in the Big Six that you completely dismissed Denmark and having any chance of advancing far into the tournament. And it was because of you that I went into my pool for my work, and I was like, no way. Like, they're gonna go to the final. You know what I mean? They're gonna make it. They're gonna play Brazil. Brazil's going to win. I had Brazil and Denmark in the final.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm not going to lie. I actually got quite a few things wrong in this tournament, but Denmark and Belgium, and to a lesser extent, Portugal and Spain, they're the 4 that I said I'm not going to do well. And I've kind of been, Portugal flattered to deceive in one game, wasn't it? Where they smashed. Who was it they smashed?
Switzerland.
Yeah. That's the only team that they really went to town on. Otherwise, they flatter deceive. Denmark, Trav, I don't know if you've got any family or relations in Denmark. It was nothing personal against Denmark. I just looked at their team and I said, they've had their fun. They've impressed in the previous tournament. There's no pace in this team. There's no penetration in this team. And the defenders are slow. A recipe for disaster. And I think it was quite obvious. But I had Argentina. My tip from the start, Bilal will back me on this, has been Argentina.
Right.
But France do worry me. France do worry me.
Yeah, I mean, Bilal, I see you getting more confident as the stream goes on. Argentina are going to take control of the game right before I came on. At first, you're like, yeah, they're going to win it. But now it's like, no, they're definitely, they got it. I'm not sure. Personally, I have France. And they have the experience at the last tournament. Those are mostly the same players, right? So I think they're going to go in with a cooler head. Even with the Messi expectation aside, this team is the team that last won it, and it's still a relatively young squad. And another thing I think is that I had Netherlands to beat Argentina in the quarters, right? So I made that prediction pre-tournament that they were going to meet up in the quarters there. And if you look at the last few minutes of the full 90 of that game, I think what's really going to do Argentina over is their weakness from direct attacks. Because as soon as the Netherlands abandoned any kind of pre-conceptual tactics that they were attempting for the first 80 minutes and they started just lumping the ball forward, I think Argentina really crumbled under that direct pressure. And the fact that France have that, as well as Griezmann and Mbappe on the wings, I think will add an extra dimensionality to their play that I think will see them over the line. So even though we've been talking a lot about Mbappe, we've been talking a lot about Griezmann, I actually think it'll be Giroud that really pulls them over. I think they're just going to lump in headers to him all day, maybe even on the corner, and he's going to get 1 or 2 goals that's going to see him through.
Interesting. Fair shout. Ilike, hope I'm saying that right. Ilike Amapiano says 60,000 population and tours us on this channel right now. That's amazing.
Yeah, Smiley.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Red Steve says, obviously, you'll get used to the Liverpool sense of humor. He says, big fan of your shorts.
Yeah, thank you, man. Come take a holiday. I'll give you a pair,
Yeah, exactly. Giroud. Bilal, we can't underestimate the levels this guy suddenly rises to. Just when we're looking at all the other main characters, he's very often the side character. But my God, what a good side character he is.
Yeah, he's been that, when Benzema got injured and we were like, Benzema's out, Deep down, we all knew, Mbappe's happy, kind of. Benzema's gone. Griezmann's probably happy Benzema's gone. And it's all because Giroud has been that guy for them, the reference point when they play. And
the reference point. That's it. That's the one.
He's the one they look to when they need to get out something. Because France, let's keep it real, they don't have a particular style of play that you go, oh, that's France. They have a style of play where, they just stay in the game. They'll try control the ball if they can. It's nothing spectacular. It's not beautiful tiki-taka of Spain. It's not even, it's not even, I don't know, the flair of Brazil that France have, or even they had in the past with maybe even the likes of Zizou and Henry and all of these guys. They have what they've kind of become is kind of like a German team. I watch them. They're just really ruthless, really efficient. And I think that is what is playing into their hands now. And with Giroud, the older he gets, the more he's understanding the game. But this news about him being injured and him having a knee problem, I think a half-fit Giroud or 75-fit Giroud takes away a lot of his game, because his game is physical. His game is, he needs to put his body there. He can't run, so to speak, and get past a defender. He needs to be 100% fit to really dominate a game.
I disagree.
That's for me.
I disagree.
You think if half-fit Giroud is good, you'd rather risk him?
So the way I look at it is the way you look at it, but I disagree with your opinion, because everything you were saying suggests to me he's not relying on his mobility. He doesn't rely on his mobility. He doesn't rely on making sprints. So therefore, if he's 75%, 70% fit, which means he makes less sprints. He's a little bit less mobile. It doesn't diminish his main qualities, which is standing there, not standing there per se, but you guys know what I mean. Making himself a presence, being dominant in the air, and linking up the play.
What I would say is, though, the reason why he's dominant in the air, especially when, let's just say, it's a chance to score a goal, it's not purely because of his size. Most of it is down to his movement. Most of it is down to the way he positions himself between defenders. And he finds that space. That's why near post headers or near post finishes, there's something of a Giroud trademark. If he is 70% or 75% and he can't get that little extra movement, it will affect him. And that's why I think if he's not 100% fit, I wouldn't risk him playing. Even against Morocco, he missed a few, really good chances you'd expect him to finish. I don't know if he was maybe carrying a bit of a knock then, and maybe that affected him a little bit. I feel like if he's not 100% in his, physical state, and he is 36 years old, man, you got to remember this. And now with Argentina playing this free at the back, so to speak, and with them being dogged in defense, I don't think it's a good idea, maybe to go with a Giroud up front in this situation. As I said, I need Mbappe for me to go down the middle, and then I'll start feeling a little bit more, okay, France, maybe you've got something for me. But at the end of the day, they haven't got many options, because even Coman, you keep saying like the forgotten man. Does he even play football anymore? I'm not sure, because Thuram is the guy that's trying to get the call up now. And
Coleman's had a bit of the flu as well, apparently, and he's not been well, not been fitness. But Trav, what else, man? Where else are you looking in terms of one-on-one or areas of the pitch that you think could be vitally important tomorrow? Because sometimes, like I said to a previous caller, sometimes it's not the most obvious ones that come to light or have the most impact on a game, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think that obviously it'll be a cagey game since it's a final, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah. And again, like, I think, Bilal, you're absolutely right in saying that, Giroud's not like the supreme athlete that perhaps he once was. However, Morocco is such a stalwart team. They were in this tournament anyway, so tight defensively. I think that Argentina will be a little looser as the game goes on, and therefore Giroud will have that 1 inch more to take advantage of that defense when the time comes. I know I'm putting a lot on him, and that's because, like, to answer your question, Grizz, I think that 1 or 2 set pieces, I think, will probably be what decides this final. And the game that Argentina lost against Saudi Arabia was both from, well, I think the second goal came from, was it the first goal that came from the set piece? Am I right about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I think that those hesitations, those pauses in play, I think will distract them and sap their energy, as we've already seen in this tournament, and France will be able to take advantage of that. So I think 1 or 2 set pieces will be crucial in this game, particularly in the second half or in extra time, if it goes there.
I'm massive on this set pieces thing being the decider, guys.
Yeah. I
think in a lot of tight games, massive games, huge games with so much at stake, we often speak, and I often definitely speak about fine margins. And just when we think Mbappe, Griezmann, Dembele, Messi, Alvarez, De Paul, not being able to create, 2 tense teams, very dominant in terms of defensive structure, very dominant in midfield, lots of tackles, a lot of pressure, and suddenly a free kick is given or a corner is given. And then you lose your man like the English did against the French, right? And then, how Dutch nearly lost it against, the Argentinians nearly lost it against the Dutch, through sheer set pieces and aerial bombardment. Sometimes it can be the simplest things that can change a game. And a little corner flicked on, bang, bang, scruffy goal. Otamendi. I mean, I've got this image of Otamendi scoring. I've been, I'm kind of dreading it because I've been cussing Otamendi. Just like Trav glorified one of my predictions, I need to vilify one of my predictions. And where I said Otamendi, if any team wins the World Cup with Otamendi, they need to be, respected.
Yeah, needs to be looked into. Yeah.
And lo and behold, Otamendi is in the team, possibly in possibly winning the World Cup tomorrow. But I think it's going to be set pieces, man. I think it's going to be very, very tight. And I'm not. Would you say one team is more dominant than the other in the year, guys? Looking through some of their players, like Romero is very good in the year. I guess Otamendi is as well. He's not the tallest, but he's quite physical, isn't he?
Yeah, that's
and then whichever two play for France. Actually, I don't think the French centre-backs, apart from Konate, are good in the year as they should be for their sizes. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably about right, because the other ones are a bit lacking. But have they been sorely tested in that area over the tournament aerially? I know they conceded to Denmark.
But when they are, Lloris flaps as well. I know you're probably dying, Bill, out to slaughter Lloris, being an Arsenal fan. But it's true though, isn't it? Even though he makes some sublime saves, he is prone to making huge gaffes, isn't he?
He is.
You know what? Lloris, right? Last match was basically 10 out of 10, right? I'm expecting a 5 out of 10 tomorrow. I'm expecting.
It's like that,
yeah.
That's the thing with Lloris. If he turns up, man, he's a good goalkeeper. He just has this weird lapse of concentration, and also he's not great on the ball. So, but France don't really play at the back that much that it, brings.
You don't think Lloris is good on the ball, no?
Nah, I don't think he's that great. He's got a bit of. Obviously, De Gea is maybe an extreme example because De Gea for me is terrible on the ball, but he's not that much better than a De Gea. And also, Lloris is flappable. Sometimes he's not strong, But when he is on it, he'll pull off amazing saves, and you're like, this goalkeeper is just absolutely unbelievable. But he's just a weird player. You never know what he's gonna do sometimes.
Let me ask you a question. Do you feel like he's dipped significantly in qualities since they last won the tournament 4 years ago, or that he's still relatively the same player?
Lloris?
Yeah, Lloris.
For sure. Yeah. You usually expect goalkeepers to improve with their decision making as they get older.
Right.
I think this guy has got worse with his decision making as he's got older, or maybe it's same standard. That's one of his biggest flaws. He's a great shot stopper, great reactions. But I think his decision making is poor, Bilal. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, he might have regressed a bit, but still, even at his best, I'm still looking at him where he's someone where he could do something crazy. Then he might end up, costing the team a little bit. Even the World Cup final, man, if you guys don't remember, he basically was a reason that they conceded one of the goals. He sometimes is a problem in that team, but at the end of the day, as I said, he turned up last match. And if he just turns up for one more game, right, and keeps out a few Messi daggers and Julian Alvarez, then, France will be coming away with another World Cup. But yeah, this game's just going to be absolutely amazing.
What do you think about the other keeper, Trav? Emi Martinez seems to be very in your face, very much an extrovert, loud, aggressive, passionate, talks the talk.
Well, I was going to say,
is he as reliable as? I
don't know, because on the club level, you know what I mean. Like, it seems like there's such a gap, don't you think, between his performances in the tournament and his club career? Don't you think?
Very much so. Bilal, you're a good one to tell us because he was at your club. I mean, obviously, he didn't play much.
Weird career. I'm not going to lie. His career is so weird. He's at Arsenal since he's 18 years old, right? Doesn't get a look until Leno gets injured 10 years later. Was on loan a lot of the times. Even when he went on loan, right? He didn't even play a lot of the time for his loan team. It's a really weird peak that he's had. He's coming ever since he had that chance where he came into the Arsenal team, won the FA Cup. He has been unbelievable. And he left Arsenal in the end because he wanted guaranteed, number one position, which he didn't get at the time. But I think if he did stay at Arsenal, he would have ended up becoming that number one. So it was up to him to go to Villa in the end. And at Villa, he still continued that great performances. For Argentina, though, that's where his career now. And this is why he will be remembered, forever by Argentina fans. The Copa, what he did, the amount of saves that he's made, penalty shootouts. He's become that guy for them. He is a big, presence. He's clearly someone
big match player. You got to remember, you're right. You're absolutely spot on. Copa America, penalty shootouts in this tournament. Could tomorrow go to a penalty shootout, lads?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope not. I had this question. Do you guys? Someone I was talking to today, one of my mates, he said, "Has a final ever gone to like a penalty shootout in the World Cup?" I said, "I don't remember one." Do you guys remember one that's maybe gone to a penalty shootout? Can't think of one off the top of my head. Like
World Cup final? No.
Yeah,
not in recent
right?
I don't know.
No, I can't.
Even
I can't think of any.
2014 nearly did. Then Götze came up and just scored. So it's not some.
I can't think of any. I can't think of any, to be honest with you. Memory, 06. Oh shit!
Right.
Of course.
Yeah,
France, Italy.
Yeah.
The most predictable. How can we say 06, France, Italy? Anyone could have predicted that's going to go to. But this is what I mean about pragmatism and how tournaments are won through sheer, did 1994 go to World Cup as well? Yes, Baggio skied it. Shit, what's wrong with our memory, man? You guys are flops, man.
But honestly, really and truly, it's few and far between. It's not something that really happens. It's not something that the World Cup final is going to go to a penalty shootout. So for me, I doubt it goes to a penalty shootout, especially with the way these two teams play. The one like Argentina have shown as well during some of the extra times they played, they've had to dig deep. That Dutch game, they had to dig deep, and they showed. Obviously, I know they didn't get the goal, but the performance in the extra time made me believe, like, even if they go to those deep waters again, they can probably get something out of that. I don't know. I wouldn't want to see the game decided by penalties, to be honest, though.
Nah, me either. Yeah. Because if it was and Martinez won it, he'd come up with some dance moves. So
yeah. I mean, I don't mind. I like him.
Fire,
No, I like him. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I do like his personality. I don't think he's OTT. I think he's real. If you know what I mean. I don't think it's put on. I don't like guys that put it on for the camera. I think he's like that. I think he's like that in the changing room. I think he's like that with the players. He's brash. He says what he thinks. Do you know what I mean? A fair play to him.
Yeah.
But I think it could be a tale of two keepers. Sorry, Trevor, you was going to say something else?
I was going to say, like, on that point of people that keep it real, you know what I mean? You kind of know who they are, like, when they step onto the pitch and there's nothing going on with the cameras. I don't think that Messi does this deliberately, but do you think that there is, like, a bit of a false persona that Messi has as kind of like the artistic saint of football? Because he was getting in Van Hall and his company's faces after the game and talking, you know what I mean? That ish, right? Which is fine. That's fine. It's just that's not what I feel like his public persona seems to be. Much more of like the gentle, carefree, extraordinary.
I don't think. No.
Okay.
I don't think he's ever portrayed himself as a saint of football.
Okay, well, I don't mean him. I mean that like the public persona that is bestowed upon him, by football,
by his fans, by media.
Yeah.
I guess because it's always in comparison to Ronaldo.
Yeah.
If you take away that aspect, if you take away the comparison to Ronaldo that's always made, done a direct comparison, then Messi's quite. Tim Vickery says Messi used to be quiet, but recently he can't shut up while at Argentina. I think Messi is what Messi is. Like, you don't get to the levels that he's reached by just being a Mr. Nice Guy.
No.
On and off the pitch.
Right.
Like, he's very much, from what we read and know, he's a family man. He's not been involved in any controversy that I can think of per se.
Taxes.
Okay, but then, a lot of players, a lot of big boys.
Quite normal in Spain, to be honest.
Spain, exactly. But I mean, in terms of his antics, he argues with referees' decisions sometimes. But then again, he gets kicked the most as well. So sometimes he's entitled to. He's not going to just get kicked and keep getting up and smiling at everyone. I think Messi's persona on and off the pitch is pretty much as it should be, and it's the same as he portrays it. I don't think there's too much of an indifference. I don't know what you think, Bilal.
I think Messi, nothing's changed really the way I view him, because of, I think what's happened is, right, over his career for Barcelona, he's not had to. I don't think he's got to a stage of his career like the pressure or maybe expectation that he's feeling now for his country. Over recent years, even for Barcelona, you know, they've been struggling, and he says we're gonna. He started making speech.
Let's not forget the pressure he's under. I mean, this is literally the pressure of millions and millions on his shoulders. Literally his shoulders. Every time they step on the pitch, near enough.
Yeah, he's got the pressure. He's got everything, and now it's not just playing for Barcelona. Yes, we can win the La Liga, Champions League. He's done it all. His whole career, to be honest, right? Messi's never really caused a fuss. You know, he just talked on the pitch. People said he couldn't. Oh, he can't header. He scores ahead of the Champions League final. We'd say he can't do this. He'll go and do it. Messi has done his talking on the pitch. He's not the biggest, you know, talker or the biggest character in terms of personality. You can imagine he probably in the changing room, even on the pitch, you don't really see him shouting at anyone. But I think over the years, as he's, you know, grown as a man, he's ended up taking on this leader role. If you think about it, if his whole career, even playing for Argentina, he's had players around him who have done things where he's like, you know, he doesn't need to be that main guy. Even at Barcelona, he, in terms of leader, obviously on the pitch, Messi's the main guy. But in terms of just being that leader, even at Barcelona, there's Xavi, there was Iniesta, there's Busquets, there was Puyol. You know, there's so many other characters. Messi was just the X factor on the team. But now it's different. Not only is he the X factor, he is that guy in the dressing room. He's 35 years old, Lionel Messi. He's got his country on his back. He's telling the team after they lose to Saudi Arabia, don't worry, to the country, we will not disappoint you. All of these sort of stuff, we will get out of this and we'll win, etc., etc. Messi has taken on this role of being a leader. And that's why when he feels like his country is being attacked, his team is being attacked by the Dutch in that game, for example, he will give it back at them. And I think that's all fine. He's showing now that he really, I think when this is maybe one of the few times I've seen Messi and I'm like, he really, you know, wants to win, because we've always watched Messi and things maybe look easy. He's won. Of course he wants to win. But I feel like with this World Cup, he just wants to win it so bad that he's willing to do anything with it. And that's why the whole mentality of the team, they're dogs, all of them. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. They are dogs.
I don't know how you mean that in the nicest way possible. There's a couple of times you've used the dog analogy and example, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Trav, we're going to keep this moving. We've got a few more callers that
and shout out to the shout out to the Bermudians in the chat. You know, I saw one. So shout outs. Gentlemen,
amazing,
thank you so much for having me on, and enjoy the game tomorrow.
Nice one. Look after yourself. Speak soon. Take care, my friend.
See you later. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Yeah, man. I'm still not excited as you are for the Argentinian team. I don't know what makes you think. What have you heard and seen that's got you excited like this? I don't know, man.
It's just a combination of France. Maybe some of the things I've seen where I've seen like 2 games in a row now where you can stop a few of the things that they do. And then also with the way Argentina have just progressed throughout the tournament, they've shown me that they are learning. They pick up things in game, right? They show me that Lionel Messi is at his, you know, peak for what he can do at this age. And Julian Alvarez, man, he's been the difference maker. I look at the midfield again. I look at the defense. I look at the goalkeeper as well. That's a big thing as well. The goalkeeper is going to be important this game. I just look at everything, and they've got that experience of winning that Copa. France have the experience as well, but
SK saying there's no fairy tales in life. I don't know about that, SK. There is fairy tales in life.
Whoever wins tomorrow will be a fairy tale, because if France win it 2 in a row, that's a fairy tale for Mbappe. Imagine winning 2 by the age of 23, man. That's
mad.
Unheard of. Mad. Messi's still 35, waiting for 1.
We've got just under 30 minutes to go, and we've got about a few callers still waiting to come in. So we're going to get to the next caller. Hey, Nomadic is in the stream. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Nomadic. Hope you're doing very well.
I'm fine, thank you. Both of you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Tell us where you're calling from and what would you like to speak about?
I'm calling from Kenya.
Amazing. I love international callers, man. So we had Bermuda, we had Senegal. We've had Senegal twice. We've got Kenya. Amazing. And what time is it in Kenya?
We're 3 hours ahead of you, so it's 1:33 a.m.
Oh, it's a bit of a late one. It's a bit of a late one.
It's fine. I love listening to you.
You're amazing. Thank you very much. What's keeping you up, though? Is it the World Cup final? Is it the tension coming to you, getting to you? Are you excited like we are?
Not really, because I don't have any dog in this fight as a Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
So I was up about Morocco and Croatia because Kovacic and Ziyech were there. But in the finals, I have nothing. So whoever wins, wins.
Kovacic has been, I mean, I don't know if you wanted to speak on him per se, but I want to speak on Kovacic. I think I did at the start of the show. For me, he's one of the most underrated footballers in the world, man. Like, Kovacic can do everything. He's a fighter. He can play ball. He's a grafter. You never hear he's got that spirit in him where he hates losing, and he's so technically good. The only thing I'd say is his goal scoring, his actual stats in terms of goals and assists could be improved on.
That's true. And since Lampard's season, so over the past, let's say 2-3 years, he has been our best midfielder as Chelsea fans. It's just so bad that for whatever reasons, he just can't keep himself fit. And I've been very surprised at how, not that I don't think he has this in him, but I've been very surprised at how well he's played over the World Cup, because he's been carrying a knock and he was supposed to get surgery on it. So I don't know if now he'll decide to get surgery on it after the World Cup. But whatever usually keeps him out of probably people praising him more is because he just can't keep himself fit.
I think that's key to him, isn't it? Bill, you're a fan, right, of Kovacic?
Yeah, of course. Kovacic is my kind of player, man. I look at him and he, as we said, with Modric, he can do all facets of the game. Kovacic can do nearly everything that a midfielder needs to do. Of course, his goal and assist record can improve, but that's not really his main job. He's more of a facilitator. And I think in a team that lets him shine and use his qualities best, yeah, he'll be really good. We'll see how Potter uses him throughout this, next few months. And then if Chelsea keep him into next season, it'll be interesting to see how he's utilized, because he can be a big player. Of course, he's a big player for club. He's a big player for country. He's been fantastic as well for Croatia. We, of course, as we said, we were bigging up Modric a lot. Even Brozovic was getting a lot of love as well. But I think it's because maybe, as I said, they're a bit older. Some of them, like Brozovic, we don't really get to see them in England so much, even though I think, obviously, on me and Grizz, we're keeping eyes on Serie A a lot this season. But Kovacic, injuries and all of this sort of stuff has affected him. If he can just stay fit, there's no doubt in his quality. It's one of those ones, it's like Thiago for Liverpool. We all know Thiago's qualities. He's a fantastic midfielder. It's just, can he stay fit? Can he, maybe recover sometimes when he should? And of course, with his age, Thiago, maybe it's a different, story. But it's those sort of players, you don't doubt their quality. They've got the quality. It's all about just keeping fit and getting momentum. And I think knowing what position you're going to be playing in, week out. It's not a case of just being thrown around here one day, here the next day, and even familiarity with other players. That's why with Croatia, these guys know each other, man. They play with each other all the time. The squad isn't the deepest of squads, so the same 11 for the most part, especially with the midfield, ends up playing. So he just needs that sort of familiarity around him, and then he will, just show his quality.
But Grizz, I had a question for you mostly.
Go for it.
So you've been very critical since you got Bole in. You've been very, very critical of his dealings. Now that months have gone through, has your mind changed a little bit? Because during the summer, you did not like how he handled things and how Chelsea were going through the transfer window. But now that over the last couple of months, with the structure that we are trying to build and whatever signings we are going for, has your mind been turned a little bit?
No. That's the simple answer.
Ask why.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to just say. So no, the simple answer is no. The long-winded answer to that is what makes you think it should be changed? Have you been impressed? I'm going to flip it. Sometimes it's good to just flip it onto the caller. Have you been impressed with your transfer dealings? Have you been impressed with the progress your club has made in the last 6 months with those transfers, bearing those transfers into mind? I'd suggest so far, I'd suggest I've been proved right. I'd suggest a lot of these players that you've been brought in have not fit into the system, to the structure. I'd suggest Graham Potter is slightly still, after how many games? 15 games he's possibly coached you in now. He's been in charge of. I don't know exactly, but about 15 games. I'd still say he doesn't know his best formation or team. That suggests to me that whoever was responsible for those transfers has made errors.
If long but not long answer is Roman gave me some of the best years of my life sports-wise.
Of course.
We literally won everything with him. But over the last, let's say, decade, we weren't as successful as our first decade because the more money got into the Premier League and the rest of the league having also billionaire owners, you couldn't just spend your way into everything, you know? I feel like over the last decade, we have underperformed for the resources that Chelsea has. And I know some people will give me pelters, or some other Chelsea fans will give me pelters, because over the last 10 years, we've won 2 Champions League, 2 Europas, 2 Premier Leagues, 3 domestic cups. We've been in, I think, 5 finals. But the fact that over the last 10 years, we've just won the Premier League twice, and we haven't challenged for the Premier League in about 5 years says a lot for me, because we are a very good cup team, an excellent cup team, and Tuchel proved that. But the strength of a good team is usually proved in a 38-game run. And for the last 5 years, we just haven't done that. And I think what I like about Boli, we can talk about what happened over the summer, but we can also say that there was no structure with that. Marina was supposed to be a negotiator. She was not supposed to be looking at the players and buying them. Since our director, Eminalo, left in 2017, we didn't have anyone there. So I don't get why Boli gets a lot of, and this pisses me off because I don't get why Boli gets a lot of flack. I think it's also because of the previous American owners in the Premier League, and that just because he's American, he gets that. But I love what he's building for us, the structure-wise, because we've never had that. And I think that was one of the undoings of Roman when it came to football, because I don't like how he never gave us a structure, let's say the way Liverpool have, you know? I don't know if I'm waffling or I'm making sense.
No, I understand what you're saying. I don't agree with it. I think he was given flack because he spent the money, he's done all the transfers, and then he attempted to put the structure in and brought a new coach in, as opposed to doing it the other way around, which was to select a manager, to select a sporting director, to create a structure, and then go attack the market. Now it seems, or it will suggest, that you've spent, what, 300 million? Something like that, 300 million. And now you're going to spend another, if it's possible, which I don't know if it's possible, to go and get the players Potter wants now. Because it's quite evident that Potter hasn't worked out and Potter hasn't been involved in any of these players' purchases. I don't know what.
But when was he supposed? I'm sorry, I cut you off. Just 1 minute. When was he supposed to do all this? When he literally just bought us when the transfer window was open. How do you think a manager that was really beloved by the fan base in Tuchel, if he just came in and sacked him? Even till now, he sacked Tuchel and the fan base is still up in arms. But now imagine you coming in and just sacking him without quote unquote no reason. You know, that would. When was he supposed to do all that structure and get us players?
So why do you think he replaced Tuchel? Why do you think he was sacked or removed?
I think all of us we know that it has been said that it wasn't really about the results. Tuchel had already fallen out with a lot of players, and he wasn't just very easy to deal with. And I think eventually Tuchel really loved he said multiple times that he loved the structure of Marina and Czech. So that means Tuchel really just loved without having no structure, which doesn't make sense.
Right. So can I, again, I'm sorry for butting in this time, but you've raised a point. You've raised something that I wanted to speak about, and you've raised it for me. So Tuchel, from reliable Chelsea journalists, it suggested that Tuchel wasn't happy with the new owner's plans and structure that he was putting in place, or even his methods of working. Now, if that's the case, and again, I'm not privy to this information, but I've got a couple of guys that are privy to Chelsea information, and they agreed with the reliable journalists and said that was an issue. Tuchel just didn't, quote unquote, rate Bowley in terms of what are you doing, in terms of a layman's way of putting it forward. That is an issue in itself. That is an issue. If your coach doesn't like or agree with the new owner, then your new owner has a decision to make, because his asset is not only Chelsea, but he's one of the top 5 coaches in world football in Tommy Tuchel. Now, I don't know how long you've been watching me, but you know me, I was always bantering Chelsea fans about Tuchel. But
tactical
in the cold
light,
tactical Tommy. But in the cold light of day, he's top 5 coaches. I wanted him gone. I won. I mean, I didn't want him gone. Do you understand? So my plan was to get him out. But look, I'm not saying I'm responsible for that. I'm joking, by the way. But what I mean by that is, if your manager, you as a new owner, you don't understand football, you only understand business and finance, you don't understand the mechanisms of how transfers work, what kind of players a manager wants. He definitely doesn't want Cristiano Ronaldo, which your owner wanted. What you're supposed to do, you asked me, what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to sit down with the manager as soon as possible, straight away, and say, you're the boss, you know football, you're one of the top 5 coaches in world football. Let's sit down and you tell me how this works, or go to the people of knowledge in the game. He decided to set off and go around restaurants, meeting players' agents, and think this is how football works. And I'm afraid he paid for it by either sacking Tommy Tuchel or Tuchel walking away, or a combination of both. And that's where the problem lies.
I was waiting to see if Bilal wanted to jump in before.
Bilal, do you want to subtract or add?
Yeah, no, listen, I think the issue with Bowley, we know, how it started. The last few months of that, saga with the sanctions and everything with Chelsea, Bowley comes in. It was a bit of a mess to start with. He didn't come in the easiest way. It was probably really difficult coming to Chelsea. He had to try to change many things, but it was kind of hard to change things that were already in place. And that's why with the money spent in the window, I looked at Chelsea's transfer window and it was just chaotic. I was never a fan. I had Chelsea friends and, they're telling me, oh, we've had a good window. We've brought Fofana, Koulibaly, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, it just doesn't feel that way, because of the way I think they were targeting Rafinha at one point, Richarlison the next day. There was rumors about Jesus the other day. Like, it was all a bit just crazy watching Chelsea operate. But I think now the point is that's gone. The summer's gone. They spent the money. They even sacked Tuchel. Okay, fair enough. For me, they just got to write that off as a learning curve, and I think that's what they will be doing. Now, the way Chelsea are moving, though, is quite interesting. The problem with Chelsea now, I don't think it's going to be Bowley. I don't think it's going to even be their signings. I think the problem is going to be their fans, unfortunately. Their fans are the ones who can make or break what's happening at Chelsea right now, because it's not going to be Roman Chelsea. It's not going to be, win at all costs, buy one player the next day. If he doesn't work, buy another one. It's going to be a process now. And that's a word that Chelsea fans are not used to hearing. And I think as long as Chelsea fans are willing to be patient, give this process with Potter, with the recruitment team, at least 2 seasons, we could maybe see Chelsea in the next 2-3 years become a really strong outfit. You look at some of the signings they're making already. That Fofana kid that they signed, I believe was at Molde. He's a player. You look at him and I don't even know much about him, but listening to some people talk about him, I was listening to some. I think United were linked with him at one point because of obviously that Oli connection. Chelsea, Brighton. You're looking at the way he plays as well. I'm looking at those type of signings. If Chelsea are now making smarter signings based on maybe stats, age profiles, positioned, I think Chelsea in a few years could be serious. And you look with Nkunku now as well. You add a player like that to your team. If you start getting tactically versatile players, and you have a manager like Potter, you just have to give him time. Let's see what Chelsea can do. But at the end of the day, I think Bowley and his team are learning from some of the mistakes that they've done already. They're willing to look at good football models, which I find interesting. Like straight away, they identified Brighton and the Red Bull groups as, models that, they know how to scout a good player. They know how to get a player before he's really hot. Why don't we do that? But at the same time, Chelsea have the capacity and the financial capability to go and sign an Nkunku who's already gone through that development process. So if Chelsea can mix and match the best of both worlds, they've got a good academy as well. In a few years, let's see how this goes. But all it comes down to now is patience by the Chelsea fans. They're going to have to be not so patient, but at least give this Potter and Bowley at least another summer transfer window, the whole of next season, and then see where they end up then. If they don't give him that and the fans are not willing, because before the break happened, I've already seen Chelsea fans saying Potter out. I know it's just probably a minority, but even with my own, people that I knew support Chelsea, a lot of them have said, I don't think Potter's going to last the season. But I'm thinking, guys, don't you realize Chelsea are changing as a football club? And you guys are maybe just going to have to get used to that. But if you do, as I said, and I don't want to keep waffling on about this, but I think Chelsea, if they stick with this, they could be, something to be fearful of in a few years.
If your expectations, has your expectations as a Chelsea supporter changed? Because ever since I've known Chelsea to be relevant, they've been a team that expects to be competing for every title possible, because that's the expectation your old owner put on you because of the money he spent and the players he brought in and the coaches he hired. Where are you now in that expectation table, and what's the reason for that right now? And how do you fix that?
One, I never thought I'd ever agree with Bilal, being an Arsenal fan, and he gives us pelters on this show, so definitely agree with him.
There you go. I've taught him a lot. He has been under my stewardship for months now.
But it will be very difficult to get top four, and not because individually, the names on that team, on our team, we have some of the best players, but I don't think we're still gelling as a team, because I always say just all because you all are big players does not mean you make a great team, if I can say that. Because let's give an example. Arsenal's starting 11 are not made up of like big names, but they're very well gelled as a team. So that's one. And two, I don't think of the top four because previously we could sneak our way into the top four because the rest of the teams around us weren't really good, Because even last season, when we were going through everything with Roman, and then after Real Madrid, and everything started going haywire, we snuck into that third spot because Arsenal just decided to crumble, and they gave us a lot of breathing space. So, but now I feel like, even though I don't rate that Tottenham team, I rate Conte, and I just feel like a good manager will give them an extra 5-10 points, and Potter is still trying to land that team. I think that's the one thing I want him to succeed. But has he made some mistakes? Yes. I don't really like how he keeps changing and chopping that starting 11. But I'm going to say it's down to him trying to land his first 11, if I can say that. And I think since he's gotten that job, what we as fans or you as opposition fans think is Chelsea's best starting 11, he's not had time to work with all of them because for some weird reason, all of them have just been breaking down with injuries. So I can say that's down to chopping and changing, but I don't think that top four will be easy because the rest of the teams around us have improved. I don't know if I make sense.
No, definitely makes sense, especially now with the rise of Newcastle. That's going to throw another spanner in the works. You know, if Newcastle, for example, get top 4 this season and the money they have available, that's money no team in this league, maybe apart from Man City, you know, can compete with. So I think this season, even if Chelsea don't get top 4, as long as you're even in Europe in some capacity, which you should be, I just think you just got to give this project time. They've shown already, like the thing with the Bowley group, and at the beginning I was critical. I was thinking, okay, they've sacked Tuchel. What's going on here? The transfer window looked crazy. But now I'm starting to see, you know what? They've looked at good models to, you know, build your team around, whether it's a Brighton and a Leipzig. And if you're Chelsea, you can do what they do, but actually retain your players and add more to it. So I just think Chelsea got to give it time, even if this season is a bit of a painful one. You know, we'll see by next season and the year after. I think Chelsea will start rising up the league again. But of course, this is the Premier League, man, and it's as competitive as any. You can have a one bad season, the next season, there's a team like Newcastle. Man United might get new investors, and you never know what they could do. Liverpool looking for new investors. There's so many teams in this league who have the capacity to really do something. So that's what makes it entertaining. That's why we all watch. It's the most watched league in the world for a reason.
Nomadic, it's been wonderful chatting to you. We're really running out of time now. Thank you very much for calling in, and I hope to speak to you very soon. Hopefully, I'm proved further right in my assessment of Chelsea.
Hopefully, you probably lose to Man City and then Man City lose to someone else. I really don't want you to win anything.
Of course you don't. Thank you very much. Listen,
okay,
thank you very much for calling.
Both of you.
Take care. God bless.
Take
All
care.
the best. Bye-bye. Yeah, look, I've been critical of Chelsea, and so have you, and so have I, and so have a lot of people in terms of the work they've done in the off-season, the whole new coach, the new owner, etc. We haven't been proved wrong yet.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. As I said, like for this season, in all likelihood, it's not going to be an easy season for Chelsea. It's already, it might not be a season where they finish in the top 4. Even they might not finish in the top 6. You never know, right? But at the end of the day, this is a new start.
It's a wild situation.
100%. It's a new start for Chelsea.
It's a wild situation. One second. There's so much people sending me all sorts of messages right now as well. At the same time, you got to remember, people are always messaging me all sorts of stuff.
I've seen some breaking news from one of the most reliable United journalists, and Man United, saying the Man United feel they could make a compelling case for why Jude Bellingham should join them.
No. That's a wrap. Forget about that. Let's don't even talk about that. Bring that up, guys. We've only got literally 6 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go. There's a couple of callers that have come in now. There's going to be no time for you guys. It's way too late. I'm so sorry. I really apologize. We're nearly 3 hours into the stream. We've got time for one more caller, and that's going to be Quasi. Quasi, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well.
How you guys doing?
We're doing fine, my friend. It's been wow, Bilal. It's been 3 hours. We haven't noticed it, man. It's madness. We literally haven't noticed it.
No, it's been a great show.
We've covered quite a range of topics and talking points, but what's your talking point, my sir? What's your talking point?
Well, tomorrow the party's over, and for me, I thought that 86, Mexico, South Africa 2010 were like the 2 best World Cup I've seen. But this one, I don't know, man. This one, maybe FIFA might want to move it back to the Christmas part, because this was exciting. Every game, you don't know what happens. Usually you think the first matches, there's always a Cinderella moment here and there. But this one is every game something could happen. So saying that, I think the same thing could happen in the final.
Bilal?
The same thing could happen in the final. Yes, France do have the better team on paper. Argentina, it's dogs right now with Messi. But at the same time, France.
See, you still got this thing about
dogs,
like Man City. Sorry, Argentina are dogs, but plus Messi.
Yeah, I mean,
no, nothing else.
No, I mean they have some individual talent, but when Messi is in the team, it's very hard to look at another talent. Enzo is balling, and not just because.
How about the French team? I don't like Dembele and Mbappe. Okay, you got Griezmann in there as well. Yeah, fair shout. Yeah, they got more quality there.
More quality on the team,
especially in the final third in the creation.
Exactly, and I think you made a comment like that earlier with another caller where you said the midfield of Argentina is going to swallow French's midfield. Yeah, Chouamini is playing well. I don't know if Rabiot is coming back, but the Argentina's midfield that's what I call them. There's like a Liverpool with Gini, Milner, and Henderson, in the beginning of the club years, where they were like hungry pack of wolves, and they let the attackers do their thing. Alvarez is something else. That one is City. I have to clap for City because that was a great pick. Like I said earlier, Enzo, McAllister. I never knew Argentina had a player named McAllister, but we'll leave it alone. And then, of course, Messi doing his thing when it's supposed to be done. I've told we talked about this. I said for over 10 years, Argentina could not figure out how to use Messi. Mm-hmm. And then since last year when he won the Copa America, he just trusted the coach, something that I believe Ronaldo should have done with his coach. Coach, okay, tell me what to do. Don't worry, I got you. I got these guys behind you. You just stand there and then you do your thing. Which is,
do you think it's more of a coach thing? I don't know, man. You guys think it's a
look at
I think it's a Messi knowing his game, his position now.
Don't die. Take your time.
I would say, I think
I was looking at this donut and I was thinking, my God,
that's my poison, man. That's my poison.
I lost my breath looking at this chocolate donut, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I think it's Messi maturing enough to know his physical attributes have diminished into playing the role he plays now. I'm not sure if I'm ready to give that much credit to the manager. I've given him for all the other aspects, but I'm not sure it's a tactical master plan in terms of how he's used Messi. I'd say building it around Messi, yeah, fair play. But I think Messi's Messi, right? I don't know what you saying.
Right. But you want to go first, Bill? Or?
No, it's fine. You go, of course.
The reason why I'm giving it to the coach is because the coach has found a way to convince Messi to buy into his
fair play.
You see what I mean? Messi is always Messi. It doesn't matter what kind of system that you come with. Because the reason why I'm saying that is if you look in the past 10 years, maybe the first World Cup that he went in, every coach has tried to mimic the Barcelona style of play, which they moved him across the front three, except they moved him through the middle, made him like a Modric where he just plays a number 10, and it never worked. This one is different. Of course, Messi's Messi. He's a genius, so he will figure it out as he goes. But is the coach actually coming to him and saying, listen, you can't run back and forth anymore. You can't do everything by yourself. Let me get people who would do it. Because Argentina used to, Grizz, they had Tevez. They have Aguero. I mean, look at the list that they had in the front three. They had
Higuain, Di Maria, Peak.
Bro, you see what I mean? But this team is just one or two guys that you'd be like, okay, this guy is good. But they do their job so well that it makes Messi like part of the team. He just happens to be the best player on the team. You see what I mean? A lot of teams, you have this guy like French. You look at their team, you can Mbappe. But the thing that I'll give the French, though, a lot of people think they're playing bad. They're not. They know how to play. Their whole system is break us down, beat us. Because if you watch the game against England, yes, England played well, but you still could not beat them. Morocco played very well. And still, Morocco went out of their shell where they were not even being pragmatic. They went after the French. But if you look at all the chances that Morocco and even England had, there was a defender right in front of the ball where the attacker could not shoot. Now, was there a couple of players, a couple of chances where it hit the pole and you were like, oh, come on, why is it not going in, which is football? But the French, they are very tactical. They know what their limitation is, which is the midfield. Which, if this guy do not put Khanage back in, I'm going to lose my mind.
I was supporting the French, not because of the French. I've got no allegiance to the French at all, apart from Ibu Konate. But if they don't pick Ibu Konate, even though I don't think Argentina are going to win, I want Argentina to win. I think France are going to win. But Quasi, it's been 3 hours. The stream's only scheduled for 3 hours, man. It's we've time has flown. You've made some points there. Give us a prediction before we let you go.
I'm going with you, man. I'm going with Le Français. But I'm just like Messi moment.
I don't want them to,
but
I think they've got the know-how to.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Yeah, Argentina, their defense is not as solid as everybody assumed they are, because the French, if Dembele wakes up, it's going to be a wrap, because he could actually unlock defenses. And
we spoke about him earlier in the stream, that how underwhelming he's been for a man of his talent, but that's defines his career. It defines his career up till now. Just not when it counts, he's not there. When he counts, he's not there. But anyway, Quasi, thank you very much, my brother.
Thank
Always
you so
a pleasure.
Much, all right,
look after yourself.
Take care.
See you guys.
Bye bye.
All right, take it.
What are you doing? What are you doing here? What are you doing?
I've just come back from a Christmas brunch, so I thought I'd just come on the stream, see how the boys are.
Well, yeah, we've seen your face. Yeah, we've seen your face. I only brought you in to show your face, your beautiful glowing face. Everyone,
lost a little bit of weight, Grizz. Lost a little weight in the last 2 weeks. So
you haven't lost. You've lost a little bit.
Pounds,
no,
pounds down.
I can tell. I'm not. You know me. I say how it is. I think you have lost a little bit of weight. What's the secret? What you been doing? What you been doing? Give us a quick routine, because we're going off now. We're finished.
Green tea, cinnamon powder, apple cider vinegar, 2 meals a day, working out, trying to burn 1,000 calories a day. That's it. Job done. Ho gaya.
Apple cider vinegar. I can swear by that apple cider vinegar. Bilal, have you ever tried apple cider vinegar?
No, I take it every day. That is serious.
No
stuff.
way.
Yeah, it's really good. It's
That's
good
proper.
It's a secret fat suppressant, man.
It's just good for your system, just in general.
Oh,
so yeah,
you like
we need
that,
apple,
Bilal, yeah? You like
apple
that.
cider vinegar. Give us we need a sponsor. Apple cider vinegar to sponsor this channel.
Wait, we need
Braggs,
some apple cider vinegar.
The Braggs brand, isn't it? The Braggs brand.
No, any brand. We ain't fussing around.
We need free supplies. I need some free supplies, man. Every day.
I know you're wrapping up. What's this Francais? You're going with the Ale Francais tomorrow.
I'm not going with Ale Francais. No, I can't stand Ale Francais.
Argentina is set in stone. It's Messi's World Cup tomorrow. Set in stone is done.
Yeah, but you know me. I'm beyond that emotional romance type thing. Yes, I want Argentina to win. Yes, I want Messi to win. I'm just looking at it from a footballing point of view, and I think it's going to be very, very tight. Hold on, guys. Just got a text off my man. Ooh.
What's this?
I'll message you in a minute.
Listen, tomorrow it's 3-1 Argentina tomorrow, man. And Lautaro Martinez will score tomorrow. Watch, he's had a stinker of a tournament. I just know the way mysterious things work. He's going to score tomorrow.
Who?
And, Lautaro Martinez. He's going to score tomorrow. Watch. He'll score.
I've called him a fraud. I've called him a fraud all week.
And I've got a bad feeling. I've got a bad feeling about Mbappe tomorrow as well. I don't know why, but I've got a bad feeling about Mbappe.
I've just sent you a WhatsApp. But let me tell Bilal his conspiracy theory. He thinks, Mbappe. He thinks there's like gonna be like like Ronaldo and in the other World Cup where there was like some issues or problems or something. He thinks we're gonna be something about Mbappe. Too wild, right? Too wild. Come on.
Nah, I think we're past.
Well, it could. The only thing I'm thinking of is this flu bug going around, right? Something.
They're blaming the England camp. They said England gave it to them. I said we left with something, man. We might have lost the game, but we won the war. So we took out the team.
We took out half your team, boy. But apparently they're all good. Everyone's fine. It's going to be a full French team. It's going to be a full Argentinian team. Avi, I know you've been out and about, but very quickly, apparently Argentina are going to play 3-5-2, like they're going to change their system. Apparently, that means, and apparently, what was the other shock in the French team, Bilal? Oh, there was none.
Back in.
Oh, yeah. Upamecano over Konate. Surely that's a fuckery, right? That don't make sense. But good luck to them if it does. Rabiot obviously comes back in instead of Fofana, my boy Fofana. And Giroud's apparently a little bit of a doubt, but he's going to play.
And Benzema said he's not interested, is he, at all?
No, forget Benzema. That's drama, and they don't need drama right now. I'm with you, Bilal, actually. Bilal's convinced me, we don't need that drama and attention-seeking from Benzema. But quick thoughts on the game, then. I don't like the way Argentina have decided to change formation, because I like their 4 midfielders. They're dogs of war in there. But obviously means they're going to take out one. Who's the one that's likely to drop out, in your opinion, then? De Paul, Paredes, McAllister, Enzo.
It'll be Paredes that drops up. But Paredes hasn't started either this in the tournament, has he?
No, he started the last game, didn't he?
Against not the Dutch. Who was it?
No, the semi-final.
Croatia.
Yeah.
Got it. He won't drop De Paul. I don't think he can drop McAllister either. Then he won't drop Enzo.
It's going to be Paredes then. Yeah. That's what we thought.
Yeah.
And do you agree with the formation change? And why do you think they're doing it? Is it the obvious trying to double up on the wingers?
I think it's the pace of Dembele, who's not fired at all yet to what he should be. So he's due a big game, and then obviously you've got Mbappe, who's just he's generational, he's different, and then Giroud, the height of Giroud. But then who comes in? Lisandro Martinez comes in alongside Romero and Otamendi. I mean, Otamendi and Lisandro Martinez aren't the tallest.
No, so but I was saying earlier, Otamendi is not the tallest, but he's fucking good in the air. He's physical and he's good in the air. And Lisandro Martinez, we've joked around and we've messed about and we've bantered United fans, but he's a good player. He's done
really well, but it's going to be a fascinating tie. It's you've got to give Scaloni a lot of credit. This Argentinian team,
we did
the last 18 months, 2 years, fantastic. He's got them all playing. And yes, Messi will take the plaudits because he's had an effect in every game, but they're all fighting for each other. And when you've got a national team that fights for each other, right, and they're going to battle, it's not going to be like. And I've seen some ridiculous shouts that it's going to be like one-way traffic, France. But no, it's going to be a very evenly. It's going to be a very even contest. And
I've predicted it's going to be a set piece. It's going to be a set piece that wins it. All this talk about Mbappe, Messi, Di Maria, or not Di Maria, maybe he won't start. But again, Di Maria's one that's got a moment in him. Di Maria, even if it's off the bench.
Copa America final, he's one who scored, didn't he, in the final against Brazil? So,
but listen, give us your prediction because we're losing watchers since you've come on.
I put a big bet on last year as soon as the Copa was over that these guys were going to win the World Cup. Argentina will win it tomorrow. They will win it. And Messi, Maradona, all these comparisons, it's done. He will be crowned the GOAT tomorrow.
I hope that comes true, man.
3-1 Argentina. 3-1 Argentina. And Liverpool's new boy, Enzo, I think he'll put in a good performance as well.
Ooh, exclusive from Avi. Exclusive.
I don't think
guys, before I forget, guys, whoever's here, click on the links for the podcast, right? We upload every episode onto the podcast, Spotify, Apple. Guys, please make sure you go there, give it a 5-star rating. That'll help us out a lot.
No, that's urgent now. No. It doesn't help out. Of course it helps out, but that's urgent. Bilal has totally reminded me. We are now available on Spotify and Apple as audio-only podcasts. So people that want to watch it back, because a lot of people have been saying, "Oh my God, we've missed the whole stream," etc., etc. Well, now you don't have to watch our ugly faces, especially Avi's. Now you can hear our wonderful, harmonious, dulcet tones on audio only. But you need to get on there, click the link, and give us 5 stars. Come on, people. You can do that for us. Listen, we're going to call it a day today. I've noticed the watchers have fallen since Avi's come on. We're going to have to discuss why that is. We've lost about 100 watchers now since Avi's come on. So, I don't know. Hogi are done. We are Hogi are done tomorrow. Bilal, hit me with that final prediction. Go for it. You haven't got one right.
Yeah, I've got every wrong so far. Yeah. My final prediction, and I pray this comes right now, because otherwise man, I don't know what's going to be happening. My Premier League prediction is going to be off as well when we go back. So Argentina 2, France 0. Clean sheet, man. Let's go.
Yes, yes.
That's what I'm feeling.
3-1.
Shall I cash out now, Grizz? Shall I cash out now?
Bruv, do what you gotta do, bro. I told you what to do, but you haven't listened. You never listened to me. It is what it is.
You wanted me to cash out at the Colin game. I didn't cash out. I didn't cash out the Croatia game. I'm not going to cash out now.
No problem.
Cowards cash out. Only the cowards cash out.
No problem. No problem. That's fine. It's your money. It's your rules. You do what you gotta do. Don't come to me the following morning and say, oh, because I'm gonna say I told you so. People are coming with their predictions. 2-1 Argentina, 3-1 France. You know, predicting way too many goals. Way too many goals. This is 1-0 job.
I think we won the final to have goals. It's been a long time. Like 2010 Spain 1-0 against Holland. 2014 Germany 1-0 against Argentina. Croatia had 4-2, 4-1. But we need a final which is close, but goals in it. We need goals in it.
Nah, I'm with this one, man. Congratulations, France, after Bilal's prediction. People already know. Omar saying, Bilal saying France to win, so Argentina win. Oh, God. I think it's 1-0 France. I'm not going to like it, especially if Khanage is not playing. If Ibu was playing, then yeah, man, Ibu comes home as a World Cup winner. I'm happy about it. But if he doesn't start, then I think Deschamps a right twat.
I just need to see Messi like nutmeg Upamecano. Just I can have that video just like there forever. Something like that. Just I need it. But
well, let's see. We've done our best. We've done an over 3-hour show today. It's been wonderful. The callers have been magnificent. The level of chat's been good. You guys have been mostly behaved in the chat. I see you naughty people as well. You know what I mean? Show some respect. You know what I mean? You was quite naughty in the chat. But you're better than that, people. You're better than that. Anyway, we over and out. Take care. All the best.